Hello, 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 hello. Hi. Well, one button worked and the other button didn't. Hey, it's Monday,
It is.
April 23rd, 2018. Coffee with Curmudgeons. I'm Doc Normal.
Lower third.
It's a Monday. I'm Doc Normal. And with me today is the father of the Falcon Heavy, Elon Musk. How you doing, Elon?
Hey, I'm doing good. Just flew in from Singapore there where I caught a Tupperware show, and a little bit later tonight I'm going to go to my favorite restaurant on the face of the earth, IHOP.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kidding. Elon Musk does not hang out at IHOP. But
Probably
if he did,
not.
If he did, he would order the Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity.
He probably hangs out at, I want to say, I can imagine Elon Musk.
Yes.
His favorite restaurant.
Yes.
Right here.
Yeah.
Think of some place that's from 1962.
Okay.
Get the Cocoa Beach, Florida,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Called something like the Launch Pad or something. A greasy spoon
Right.
of the original 7 astronauts, right?
Right.
Pictures of John Glenn and Alan Shepard, and there's Elon going. Elon's just sitting there going, "I love this. Give me some more hash browns."
Right, there's like a little tiki motif, maybe. You know?
Yes.
There's a picture in the corner of Hagman dressed as, Colonel Nelson.
Well, my favorite original 7 astronaut,
Yeah.
Major Nelson.
Oh yeah.
Major Nelson.
I love that show. Yes.
How many times? Okay, I just because this is what we do. We just do as an aside.
Yes.
How many times, like out of that whole space program in I Dream of Jeannie, did Jeannie stow away on the Gemini rocket? You know, it'd be like, Jeannie, what are you doing here? Well, I just popped in.
Right. And the one thing I came away with the show I Dream of Jeannie was genies are a pain in the butt, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they
know.
show up when you don't want them to. They always messing up and a boom. Oh, I'm sorry, I turned you into her turtle. Bad me, you know? And then she's all sassy about it, too. Like, you know, she's got the attitude.
And then they have Major Healy.
Healy.
And after he retired from the space program, he becomes a navigator flight engineer in Chicago and lives next door to Bob Newhart. Pff, who knew? Same guy. Same exact character, too.
That's right.
He's like the same guy in Bob Newhart as he is in...
Yeah, I refuse to believe that those shows are fiction. Those are real people, darn it.
I know.
And, you know, they can go on to have future lives after the one's over. I mean, come on, we saw MASH and After MASH.
Oh, God.
I remember that, huh?
We talked about that earlier.
We did. And other shows, like Trapper John M.D.
Yeah, that's a show. How many shows ago was that? That was like a month or two ago.
Right.
Trapper John meets the Bhagwan on a very special...
I watched that last night.
Did you?
I did
Wild
Country.
All right, we have to talk about this.
Yeah, I watched it, and I will neither confirm nor deny I may have taken an edible or two.
Oh, no.
And when you go on a ride with the Bhagwan, oh my gosh, it was so... Actually, it was a well-done documentary. And,
yeah, like I said. I mean, I think we covered that on Friday, didn't we?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about
We did a bunch of jabbering about the Osho.
Osho.
And actually...
That's a cool name for a band, though. The word band, Osho.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Before we get started, I wonder if this is here.
Okay.
Because did you see the show graphic from
the 420
from Friday?
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh yeah, here it is, right here. We should. Yeah.
Put
this
it
was
up there.
Yeah.
That's our blue plate special up at the lodge.
Yeah.
There's the 420.
There was our 420 show graphic from Friday's show. That's a patty melt,
Right.
And there's some some other things.
Right. But the first time I saw it, when I got home, I saw it and I go, that looks like a bunch of pot and 2 toasted cheese sandwiches. and then the second thought was, man, I'm hungry.
I know. We talked about patty melts.
Right.
All like we talked. Okay, so here. Actually, Friday's show was pretty good. I got good comp.
Oh, yeah.
People. Yeah. We talked about 420.
420, of course, yeah.
And we talked about patty melts for some reason.
We talked about patty melts being
and then went off on
God's blue plate special.
Tangent of veg news or something. And then we talked about Osho. So there it was.
Osho, yeah.
But today we actually have a plan.
Yes, we do.
We have guests.
We do, because I figured, okay, since we were kind of all over the map on Friday,
That's
if
okay.
we bring in the Brinksmen, they will keep us on task. Doug will lead us through.
So who do we have, Jason,
Well,
in studio today? Why don't you introduce? I mean, you're the Ed McMahon of the. Well, I mean, you know, you kind of like you got the introductory.
you're right.
We need a Doc Severinsen too.
We
don't
do.
You know.
You guys want to be like Doc Severinsen over in the corner? We can get you like some. We can get you like a.
Make trumpet sounds.
Yeah. Of course, we're gonna kazoos and steel drums. We can do this.
Right? Yeah.
So what do we have?
I'll be Newsom.
Right. Yeah. What we have, folks.
What we have here today.
What we have here today, folks. No.
Great introduction, Jason.
I know.
Now what we have here today is
It's a Monday. No.
a failure to communicate.
That comes later. That will be like the
What is
half hour. No, but about 2 years ago, right? About 2 years ago, we came across this band on the other show called the Brinksmen.
Okay.
And, you know, at that time, Mark will send me tracks. He'll say, hey, listen to these guys. Check it out. See what you think. And so I listened to it, and I this is no nonsense, no business, straight ahead rock and roll with a deep blues undertow to it. And I tell you, I was hooked. I said, man, I like these guys. I like these guys. I like the vibe. I like the sound. I like the song, even the way they compose the songs, you know, the way it's built and presented. And I said, we got to get these guys on the show, man. So I think the first show we ever met was down at the Hawthorne, was it the Hawthorne
Yes,
Theater?
it was
Hawthorne
the
Theater.
Yeah, we did a live show from the Hawthorne
Oh yeah.
in Hawthorne. And great interview. And as the show has gone on, you know, we'll check in every once in a while, see what's going on in Brinksman land. And then last Tuesday, we had them on over at, 2 Tuesdays ago, right?
Yeah.
We had them on at PDX, the PDX Music Meltdown show.
On House of Sound. Oh,
And then it hit
wait a
me.
minute. Should
Yeah.
I do this? On houseofsound.org.
Sounds like a monster truck. Sunday. But I said, man, we got to get these guys on Coffee with Curmudgeons because I think they'd appeal to a wide range. Everyone loves rock and roll, right?
So would you say that we're the Patty Melt of local bands?
You guys are the Patty Melts of rock and roll.
Okay.
Wear that badge, you know, like a shield, you know.
You gotta own that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know which. Okay, so which one of you is the patty and which one of you is a melt? Hey.
Well, first of all,
Anyway.
to my left is Doug Cox.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Doug?
he's the ringmaster of the crew, and Doug introduced the bandmate. That's,
Yes.
He's got his
Well,
number.
sort of.
Yeah.
No, hey, everybody. How's it going? No, the band name, it's funny, you know, we started out, we actually had a different drummer, and we butted heads a lot on the band name. And
You had a different
drummer?
band. You had a different drummer, and you butted heads a lot. I've
played-
never heard this
I've
story
played
in
with-
rock and roll in my
but
life.
No, this guy's like my brother. He's
Pretty much.
yeah, he's
Kind of Cain and Abel, I would call it, in a rock and roll style.
Yeah, we've done this for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the guy to death, you know, but
To death being the,
yeah, I mean,
operative
we would
word.
bang heads, you know, on what to call the band, you know, everything that I suggested he thought was stupid and vice versa, you know, and we went almost a year or more not being able to decide. Nobody giving in, you know.
So when you guys would do gigs, it would be like with one name and then another name.
No, so he comes in one day,
awesome.
and he was trying to be funny and smart, and he goes, how about we call the band Fuzzbot?
Fuzzbot. I'm thinking
And
like a
myself-
MTV new wave, like Flock of Seagulls.
Right, you know. And Mike and I, our guitar player Mike and I, look at each other and we go, we don't hate it. And that was it. That was the done deal. So then we gig and tour for like another year under that name.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we played Ash, we played Rock Hard. I mean, everywhere.
All over.
Yeah, all over. And then we went and we started recording our album, and that was the deciding factor of, you know, if we're really going to put out this album, it better be something we're all happy with. And so that was the point of, okay, let's change the name. And we settled on the Brinksmen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, wasn't my first choice, but now I'm stuck with it. You know,
There's a pro tip.
but it's great. You know, I mean, it all worked out. You know, it's a little bit of that Dave Grohl story of, man, if I would have known it would have been this great, I would have named it something cooler.
Right. Right.
Here's a pro tip: just name your band after a major city in Japan. Always works every time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's that really cool band called Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
They're right up there with like Loudness.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah. And it's the full 80s experience, too. I mean, it's awesome. Most people are like, oh, my God, the 80s. Me, man, when I see those leg warmers, I say, God, that is the 80s, man.
I love the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
Arena rock.
The only thing that would concern me about the leg warmers is that might be that Billy Squier pink tank top moment.
Ooh.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. Oh, I remember that well.
You know,
And
that
the
was
dance.
a career killer. You know,
The little dance he did in the video, and it was like, wow.
Billy wasn't coming back from that.
Yeah,
you know?
there was no recovery.
And the art director's like, no, Billy, I swear this is going to be
God.
Put on that pink T-shirt and dance.
Yes,
It's okay.
yes. Trust me, 30 years from now, Billy, it's going to be great. It's going to look great. You won't sit on YouTube and laugh at this at all.
Yeah.
And don't worry about it. Wait till you see what the Loverboy guys are wearing. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm Doug, and our guitar player is Mike Burnside, who couldn't make it today, unfortunately. And we also have Mr.
here?
Mark Drury on drums.
In the dark corner, Mark Drury.
The Dark Mark Drury, yes.
Dark Mark.
He's the dark
He's
drummer.
coming in good, though. He's sounding good.
Yeah.
He's like Neil Peart with attitude.
No, he's more like a Ramon.
Yeah.
A Ramon.
Joey or
Not so
Richie
much.
Ramon?
Marky, maybe.
Marky.
Murky Ramon. Sure.
Mark. I love it because you know he's the drummer.
Yes.
Because he's off in the dark corner by himself.
Yeah.
With this little.
You guys are kind of facing me. I'm used to looking at people's butts.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
he gets to look at me shaking my ass on stage all the time.
I played in one band for 3 years and never knew what anybody looked like.
Oh my God.
Oh, you're the singer. Okay, cool, man. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
That's great. That's just a great image. It's like, oh, see that butt? I used to play with him in a band for about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
You recognize him? I don't know. Have to turn around.
If you want me to pick him out of a lineup, you're going to have to turn around because
There you go.
It's getting uncomfortable in here. I think I'm gonna have to take a break. Anyway, we do have some. We have a little clip. We have some music.
Excellent.
If
Yes,
we want
we do.
to, or I don't know if there was some video, but we had some. You sent me some music.
I did.
Did we want to just give a little taste to the folks?
Well, let's give them a little audio sugar. That way they're like, oh,
what
hey.
should we do
Audio
here?
sugar. Yeah.
We got a little Just Agree, The Run.
Let's do Roller Coaster.
Roller Coaster.
Yeah, that was our. That was actually, and people think I'm lying about this, but it is true. This was our #1 hit on the Australian independent artist charts.
You know, actually, I know a guy.
Yeah.
I got a guy.
Down there, down under.
Yeah.
Who, he probably knows you guys. I'll
Is
have to
it part
check
of
with him.
Banks? Banks Radio?
I don't know. But it's like podcast and indie radio and
Nice.
all that stuff. I'll have to. I haven't talked to him in quite some time, but
Cool. Yeah, it was through Banks Radio Networks in Canberra. So apparently we can't walk the streets there now or something. Or
yeah.
other. I don't know.
No, it's like well, the Australia thing is cool. I mean, this guy he did like rock and roll cruises and stuff, and he was bringing people. I mean, he really became this impresario. He's a train driver. And he became an early podcaster. I met him through that, and then he did like a daily. It was called Irk FM rock show. Yeah, really good stuff. So
cool.
I'll have to check. So shout out to my friend Irk. I haven't.
Yeah,
his name's really Eric, but goes by Irk. Yeah.
Is that how they pronounce it down under?
Yeah, that's kind of what I think. Yeah. So, I mean, we got a little roller coaster.
let's give him a little.
Let's give him a little bit here. There
Let it go. Let it go. Let it flow. Chasing chances.
We're good.
And that's the chance of it all.
Yeah, that's actually our guitar player Mike singing leads on it.
Makes life like a
jot that down a little bit now. So this is you guys are a trio,
Yes.
right? That's a pretty big sound
Yeah.
Yeah.
for a trio, you know.
We seem to be able to do that. I don't know how we pull it off. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you always a trio, or was that just
Yes.
always?
Now we are currently working on possibly adding a keyboard player,
Oh,
but that still is a ways off. So,
yeah.
but since day one we've been a three-piece. Yeah.
It's always like with bands, you know, I don't get 10-piece bands because it's like how do those 10 people get along in a band, right? It seems like that, you know, you always envy the solo artist, or maybe, you know, I mean, even Simon and Garfunkel couldn't stay together,
with
right?
an acoustic guitar and
Yeah.
it's all good. Yeah.
And a trio is a good outfit for a rock band,
Yeah.
you know, because by the time you add that fourth member, you know, then it starts going off the deep end. Somebody's girlfriend is cranky.
Yep.
Someone doesn't like the amp.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep, I do.
So I always like the power trios. You know, I mean, hey, you know, the Police, Rush, Triumph.
Triumph.
There you
Triumph.
go. Yeah.
Right.
ZZ Top.
ZZ Top.
ZZ Top, yeah.
Yeah.
Quick, Doc. Think of three
Yeah.
rock trios off the top of your head.
Wasn't Tokyo a trio?
Oh no. And we had problems. Lots of problems.
You know,
Few 2 or 3 bass players, you know, and it's like, you know, and when you have a band that's actually founded by the drummer and the lead singer, watch the sparks fly.
that's right.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
And an '80s arena rock lead singer.
Oh
too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Full
It
David
just-
Lee Roth mode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
It wasn't
get
pretty, but fun. It was rock and roll, you know.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh brother,
Well, I mean,
why do we talk about this all the time?
But I think though that well, it's in our wheelhouse.
I know,
But
because we're curmudgeons.
yeah,
Anyway,
I just got totally derailed. By
I know. I'm
that.
sorry.
I was like, yeah, we're curmudgeons. Yeah.
Was that Jason just had like an 80s stroke all of a sudden? He'd like spandex and
Yeah.
Aquanet hairspray, and then
Oh,
he just
yeah.
went into a little
Hey,
thing.
we're all, you know, well known to be Aquanet abusers. You know, we've done our share of depleting the ozone.
Yeah, what-
you know, you can blame the '80s.
You're right.
Yeah.
So, what type of band were you in, like in the 80s?
Surprisingly, I was in a more progressive band called Simple Souls.
Cool.
Yeah, with Arnie Sansom, Stephen Daubert, who was the original drummer here in the Brinksmen, and Tim Wanamaker, who's been a vocalist in the area for many, many years.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a progressive.
Late '80s, yeah, it was progressive. It, you know, it was heavy. You know, we were also, you know, influenced by the,
kind of stuff.
but we were influenced by early, you know, grunge stuff, and you know, because it was later '80s into the early *90s. But we progressed into, you know, different time signatures.
Yeah.
You know, different genres
Look out.
like reggae, and you know, obviously there's the blues aspect and funk rock, and you know, it was all over.
Did
the
I
place.
mention a band founded by the glam lead singer and a drummer?
Yeah.
And arguments over, wouldn't it be great if we did a different time station? No, God, you know.
Now, I'm seeing a little bossa nova in this. No.
Yeah.
Like, sure, why not?
We did. I think at one point I actually snuck a few time signatures in there, either advertently or inadvertently.
Just
You're
to
just
make
like, I'm
your
just
point
gonna
across.
do it.
Or accidentally.
Well, you know,
Right.
if it worked for Alex Van Halen.
Work, yeah.
So it's drummer joke. It's drummer snark today.
Drummer
on,
snark today.
Coffee with Curmudgeons.
Welcome
So
to Percussionist Corner.
yeah,
I'm your host, Chip.
and later, actually, I don't think we told you, but for appearing on the show, you have to do some landscaping. So you'll be joining the guy with the lawnmower out there.
yeah.
It's our,
who'll be,
it's our production assistant outside.
pull some weeds. So, what's your influences here with the Brinksmen?
Mark, go ahead.
My influences?
Yeah.
Well, Doug writes all the hits.
Other
I
than
mean,
beer. And
Yeah, that's my influence with the Brinksmen. I mean, Doug writes them, so I just
play them.
play them.
Yeah.
But I mean, his playing's really cool because he's this blend of, he's played country, he's played a ton of rock, he's played in cover bands, he's played in original bands, he's heavily influenced by.
It's like there's bombers overhead.
Yeah, good thing we're in the bomb shelter.
Right.
No, but he's heavily influenced by like the early punk bands and things like that. So there's a really cool vibe there, that isn't your standard like progressive drummer or where
Right,
everything's
right.
so personal. There's a wild abandon to some of it, and that creates that fire and that that
Like a
excitement.
patty melt.
Exactly.
Like a patty melt. Right.
Today's show is sponsored by Toro Lawnmowers and the fine folks over at Seven Springs Landscaping.
Yes.
Call them today at 50. No, I'm kidding.
Today's show is brought to you by Weed Whacker.
Yeah,
That's right.
I think
That's a cool name for a band. Weed Whacker.
I think the whole time, like we're over a year
Yeah.
doing this particular show.
Yeah.
This is the first time someone's actually been out
I think you're right.
mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
It happens.
It happens.
Anyway,
So Doug,
Yes.
as the principal songwriter
Right.
of the group, let's talk about your influences because I know you have a heavy dose of the blues
Right.
mixed in.
I played early on as a bass player. I was fortunate enough to play with a lot of the heavies in Portland. I've shared stages with Terry Robb and Robbie Laws and Linda Hornbuckle, Mel Solomon,
nice.
Jim Meesey, all those guys. And that was like when I was 18, 19 years old.
All right.
You know,
Talk about a baptism under fire. Right?
absolutely. You know, and that's and honestly, that's my formula today. It's like it's sink or swim. You know, it's trial by fire. You get
Yeah.
up there and you do it. You know,
Yeah.
because that's how I had to do it.
did you do? Was that like the Candlelight Room? You did.
A lot of like Cascade Tavern in
Oh, okay.
Vancouver.
Okay.
You know, some like the Candlelight, and you know,
I missed the Candlelight.
yeah,
That was a great blues venue back in the day.
back in the day.
But yeah, that's a lot of good Portland
Yes.
blues rock
Right.
royalty.
Yes.
So we probably have mutual friends and things that
Yeah.
we know from the blues.
From days gone by.
I know, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
So I mean, from there, it's like after that, I started doing my delving into like the original genre, and, rock and progressive and stuff like that. And I went to Simple Souls, and which for me, it was a stretch because I'm not a huge fan of progressive bands. Obviously I like Rush and that type of stuff, but it's like I don't write things like that. For me, it's a lot more simplified and blue collar, and it's like I'm throwing my stuff out to the masses, because we can all relate.
Right? Yeah.
So I've got, like I said, I was heavily into like the blues rock, Aerosmith and all that kind of stuff, and then I stumbled upon the Black Crowes, and that was it, man. That changed my entire world.
Huh.
And I'm still a huge fan of theirs. I own everything they've ever done. Seen them several times. So that really solidified. Obviously growing up in the '80s, with the hard rock scene, it's like that was such a different world of soulful Rod Stewart type singing and that type of thing. That it completely changed the way my outlook.
The southern type flavor.
Yes,
to it.
which is kind of all over my material.
Yeah. I think for me, I really like. There's good decades, and I really the '80s are really nice. I think because it's very diverse.
Yes,
because you had you had the resurgence of heavy metal and rock and glam. Then you had like speed metal really coming. Granted, these decades they start earlier, like punk actually started in
Right.
the 70s and all that. But it's when it comes
And
popular.
even the early rap stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
Early
it was
rap?
all coming
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
The house music out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Reggae became big in the United States. I mean, it had been going in London for,
Right.
Right.
through the 70s, but then reggae kind of blew up. And
I think that's why there's such an appeal today is because like my kid, he'll be listening to like 80s rock and roll, and he'll say, well, I like this stuff. How come music isn't more better today? And like, hey, I have no answer for you, kid.
Yeah.
But
I have an answer: Pro Tools.
right.
No,
but
no,
that is,
no.
that is some
I
of
see
it.
these guys got it. They know what I just.
But there's an
I don't
ethos
know.
behind it too. In the 80s, like the arena rock and everything, it wasn't about politics. It wasn't about heaviness. There was no Dylan like know. It
Well,
was
because
just
there wasn't anything to protest.
Well,
right, but it was more like let's just party. It's a general ethos, and I think a lot of people, even kids today, kind of identify with that because you don't have to think about the heavy lyrics. You don't have to think about, and that's not degrading any of the musicmanship of 80s rock. It's
we
just
did still have some like the Irish bands like U2, Boomtown Rats, right?
Boomtown Rats,
right? They had
Public
like
Enemy.
and some of the reggae and some of the rap and all of that. So it was still there in the mix as well. I mean, it was just such a, if you actually look at the 80s as a decade and jump to the different genres that were popular, you're just like,
I mean, you even have,
everybody.
a guy that I know who's in the area. It's like Tommy Two-Tone,
Oh, yeah.
That's early 80s.
Yeah, that's right.
I was very lucky enough that we did a remote show a couple of years ago from the Cellar Studios down here over by Reed College, and we actually had Tommy Two-Tone come in. He sang Jenny, and we got to do backup
Did
for
he
it.
really?
Yeah, we got to do. I'll dig out the audio, but there was like four of us, Rich, me in the background.
Oh,
we're
that's
singing,
awesome.
8675.
753. But at first, he's like, when he first showed up, his people were like, do not ask him to do that song. He's done it so many. He's tired. He wants to promote his newer stuff.
Which, by the way, is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I went last time I saw Tommy play. He was at what is it even called now? Is Sabala's?
Something like that.
Yeah. And he got up there, and it was him, a guitar and an amp, and a drummer. Wow. And he knocked it out of the park. His new material was so good. I mean, it's like, here's a guy who had a huge hit in the 80s, and then you didn't really hear much from him after that. And he's up on stage, and all you can think about is that's what he's meant to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that vibe from him, and it was great.
Well, what's the I mean, you have that
I concur.
That upside though.
Yeah.
Like you said, where you have like you're a band and you're like you guys, I mean, you're out there, you're playing clubs, you're doing your thing. And then, like a band like Tommy Two-Tone, they hit that one song and then it's just like everywhere.
Right.
Like that one album, and you can think of all these bands, especially in the 80s, that hit that one song, that one album.
See, I would kill for that.
Anthemic.
But then all of a sudden, for some reason, I mean, there are some bands that, keep building on that. And then sometimes it's like, wow, where'd they go? And it's not, I don't necessarily want to say it's necessarily the band's fault or the songwriter. It's just whatever. I mean, back then you're dealing with the A&R of
the marketing and
and the
Well, I think the 80s and the 90s was a huge transition time too. Gone were the days now of when you were signed by a label, you had 3 albums where you could work it out, and they
developed you
as a band. Nowadays, it's we want that one hit. We don't care what you guys play, even if you're around for 15 seconds. That's good enough for us. Let's just throw it.
If you're not multi-platinum right out of the box, they're not very interested.
But the cool thing about today is that it's a different place. You can, you guys can connect more directly with your audience.
Right.
You may not, it might not be like, hey, we all grew up with this idea of, oh, you play in a band, you write that one hit,
Right,
you
yeah.
get it on the radio, and everybody, and that still happens, but it's much more not. I mean, you want to be a YouTube star now.
Yeah.
Right.
Forget about. I mean, radio. What
Right.
How many views do we have on YouTube for our music video? That's
Right.
that's what the people are looking for today.
Right.
And there's more
Video.
interaction. With social media and all of that.
Well, the mentality too. When '80s bands, we have to get that record deal. It is all about. There is no
Yes.
success without a record deal.
Right.
Whereas today, I mean, you have so many different ways to connect with people who love your music. You can kind of bypass that all. And the only thing you're really missing though is that infrastructure of capital where they could get you out to millions of people.
Well, that's the other
and
thing.
you've got to do it yourself. But
The other thing is just sitting there and recording and writing and recording an album used to cost you millions to do, right? And then
And it can get bloodied sometimes.
yeah,
you
have to have the producer, right? The Bob Ezrins of the
That's
world,
true.
and the Bruce Fairbanks of the world, and the Doug Coxes of the world. And
Oh no. Trust me, man. I'm not the producer type. Not at all, man. I'm the throw the gear in the truck and let's go.
who produces your who
Well, surprisingly, that album, we recorded the tracks at my guitar player Mike's studio, and then it was sent off and mixed and mastered by a guy in Nashville.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
there you go.
Named Ron Chick.
Wow, because it sounded good. It sounded really good.
Yeah, he did a great
Yeah.
job. Now the two Australian singles, Roller Coaster and Rescue Me, were actually recorded, produced, mixed, and mastered here in Portland by Tom Van Riper at Lost Studios.
Mm-hmm. And did you?
Which Tom used to be the drummer in Tuesday's Project.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Did you record that same studio, different studio, or just?
What, those two singles?
Yeah.
Yeah, at Tom's studio, Lost Studios.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're on
gotcha.
Hayden Island, yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, big fan of Tom.
Have to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a cool new project that he's building. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they're just in the writing stages, but he's got some good people, so I'm excited to hear it when it's done.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's but I mean that's the whole thing, right? You can,
Yeah.
the '80s started bringing out the thing where it's like, okay, we need to record an album.
Yeah.
We hate going into a studio
And we have no
environment.
money.
And we have no money, so let's just get a recorder or whatever. Now
Yeah.
it's digital. Back then, it was and throw it in the toilet and just start, recording,
Right.
the stuff, and it just it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And then you can connect to, you got like all the tools you can connect with your audience and get them out there. you
Yeah,
know?
and gone are the days of you hear about the famous bands who head down to places like Muscle Shoals or the
Well,
old Sun recording and stuff. But nowadays, I mean, you can do it. It's a DIY sort of thing with technology, and
It was one of my
it's awesome.
one of my typical internet rat holes was one day just going down the Wikipedia and the surfing all about Electric Ladyland, La Studio, where the record plant. I mean, like all these places where, and in fact, it was just recently. I want to say it might have been last year in New York. One of the studios caught fire, and they were pulling old masters out like from the 70s. We're talking some
God.
serious recordings.
Unreplaceable stuff.
Yeah. That might have been where they found that. Was that where they found that Hendrix? Maybe.
Yeah, both
Maybe.
sides of the sky.
Yeah. So I mean, these places still have like tapes and masters and stuff and vaults just sitting there, and it's like, I don't know.
Back when you had to be great,
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Sustainable.
because the process of recording then was so much more. You had to be so much more precise. Where nowadays you can fix anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true because of digital.
Yeah.
Because of the. But it's interesting because we're talking about like, in the 21st century, it's DIY. But those really progressive innovator guys like Hendrix, especially, they brought in those tape machines and were like, okay, let's roll tape. Let's experiment around. Let's roll the tape backwards. Let's do all this,
Right.
So I mean, they were already doing that stuff.
Well, Zappa was. I mean, he was crazy with that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even before that, you had the forerunners. I mean, Spectre, right? The Wall of Sound.
Oh yeah.
Which kind of blew people's minds at first. You're like, whoa.
Phil, good old.
Yeah, we won't go down the rat hole
Spectre.
of Phil too much.
Yeah,
Let's just leave it right there. Right
Google the life and times of Phil Spector.
Yeah.
And
Well, I can only imagine, that, like Les Paul inventing track recording.
man.
That must have blown people's minds.
I this was another rat hole I went down the other day. I think
There's apparently a lot of rat holes.
Oh, yeah, there always are.
On the show, there's a lot of rat holes we're going down.
No, I think
Watch where you step, Mark.
Right.
there was I think I was doing a show or something at House of Sound, and all of a sudden I went down this rabbit hole and discovered all this stuff like on YouTube and stuff of Les Paul and Mary Ford, and those are just some of that stuff is insane. They had a TV show.
Yeah.
I mean, and he had like his guitar, and we're talking, what is this? Pre-1960, maybe 1960,
58 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And he's got these electronic Robert Moog and all these guys. He's got all these like electronic gadgets, and there's actually a video on YouTube where he sits down. I think Mary Ford's there, and he like starts up the tape decks and starts playing, and she starts singing and stuff. And this we're talking like I said, 58, 59 or something. And you're just like, okay, this is pretty crazy. I mean,
right, yeah.
Because it's like, this is the only guy doing this at this time,
Those pioneers and innovators were.
Yeah.
You wonder not only like, wow, that's cool, but geez, how did he figure that out? What went through his mind to decide, I'm going to be some mad scientist and start hooking up everything? My God, that's a theremin.
Yeah. Well, and they always like talk about like, you talk about like the Beatles and the other big, and it's always like, okay, guys, George Martin, right?
Yeah.
He was really responsible for, I mean, granted, they did the songwriting and everything, but he was really, would you have Sgt. Pepper's if you didn't have George Martin?
Yeah.
Probably not, you know?
It would have sounded way different.
Yeah. It would have just been Ringo.
Yeah. I wrote a song about an octopus.
I'm a huge Kiss fan, right? But Bob Ezrin.
Yes.
There is no Destroyer without Bob Ezrin.
Yeah.
He totally changed the whole outlook of that band in '76.
Yep.
I know it doesn't rank up with the Beatles, but I just...
No, that's a great album, though.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Probably one of the coolest album covers ever.
Right.
Yeah, Destroyer. Yeah,
I agree.
Speaking of producers and TMZ,
Yeah.
did you know Mutt Lange actually ran off with Shania Twain's best friend? That's how they.
No,
really?
That's how they split up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then she married her best friend's husband.
Oh, wow.
Weird.
Honest to God, go look it up. It's in. She did a big interview.
But,
the big story was she said something because she's Canadian.
Right.
Apparently, there was a quote that she said she would have voted for Trump, so it blew up on social media. But she's coming back. She had some throat thing, so you haven't heard from her in a long time, and she's
Hopefully she doesn't sound like Def Leppard again.
come back.
You see, that's the thing. Her first two albums, Mutt's behind the control. He's like, let's see here. Did you know? Did you know it leaked out like a couple of years after the first album came out, and it did this huge, business for that in some of the background vocals is Joe Elliott.
Yeah.
Like, Joe, we need
Why
you in
not?
some of the background vocals. Come on in. I wonder how Joe thought about that. He's like seeing the country
Of
music.
course.
Oh.
Why not? I mean, wouldn't you have loved to hear the Shania Twain tribute to AC/DC?
Oh, sure.
Shania does "Girls Got Rhythm,"
Sure, she could tackle with some Def Leppard too.
Well,
since
didn't
Mutt's
they-
there, like, hey, pull out some Rock of Ages. That's cool. Pyromania.
Well, didn't Def Leppard do that Crossroads show with Taylor Swift?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think
apparently she was raised on Def Leppard because her mom was an '80s girl, and
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I know a lot. I know a lot of people, a lot of women, adult women who were raised off. I mean, they were Def Leppard. Come on.
right.
Come on.
Sure.
It was like, remember? It'd be like,
Yeah.
you'd be around a young woman and they'd be like, I really like Def Leppard. And actually, those albums were very good.
Right. Def Leppard, Poison, And or of course, the fallback is Lita Ford. You got to,
She's
Lita
awesome.
Ford.
Yes.
She really is awesome.
Jeez, Lita Ford.
Right. I love the rambling nature of the
was
show.
awesome.
Jason just can go far off in left field. Hey, Lita
I know,
Ford.
and he's the straight guy for the interviews. He's the guy who comes in. All prepped and
Usually.
Is that the first time he's been called straight?
Oh,
Right now, the wife is confused. I've been living a lie.
I was gonna say only by the wife.
Right.
That was uncalled for. Come on, that's no. We don't do that in the 2018.
Right.
Sure.
That was 80s. That was John Hughes.
We're living in the 80s right now.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. Gay jokes, great. John Hughes movies, wonderful. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, Ducky.
Yeah.
Ducky.
Okay. Well, let's not go for any. I already read the Molly Ringwald.
Talk about going off
Thing
in the
in
left
the-
field now.
No, Molly wrote a piece in the
That's right.
New Yorker, New York Times, one of those.
Yeah.
Just a couple weeks ago about kind of a reassessment of watching the John Hughes movies with her daughter and all the stuff that was so messed up.
Nice.
So like you could never do this in 2018, but also it was very balanced. It was a really
Well
did
written.
You?
I did.
I told you to read
Very
it.
well.
I told everybody to go read it.
Yeah.
Very well balanced.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things.
You
It's
could
like
say the same thing about most of the cartoons I watched as a child.
sure,
Exactly.
of course,
Right. Ain't no way.
Totally messed up.
Wile E. Coyotes,
Yeah.
But I loved it. Everything he bought was from Acme.
Yeah.
And then, he was a Wile E. Coyote, super genius. But if you're such a super genius, you would have figured out how to catch that little...
Right?
And I'm rambling again.
Well,
Hello, everybody.
but watch those Warner Brothers cartoons from during the war years.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's a
those are
little
pretty
racist.
racist.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
history. That's why we study it. Let's get back to music, shall we?
Let's do that. Have you guys have any videos out there? Like on YouTube and that? Maybe
Yeah.
people can...
There are some out here.
Yeah, there's most of it's live stuff.
Yeah, it's
There's
live
a
stuff.
promo video out
Yeah,
here.
there is a promo video.
We could pull it a little bit up there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Where was that?
It's got all kinds of it's kind of a
Snippets?
slideshow kind of thing.
It's got snippets on it of tape, of video.
here we go. Here's your promo video, right? There we go.
It's got all the contact information, some live footage from shows.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what song is this?
Clueless.
Clueless?
Yeah. And then this is Get On Back.
Nice. Oh, you know what? Maybe Doc should show them the damn video.
Yeah, there you go.
Doc's enjoying it himself.
Yes, I was. I was just. There, we'll. We can go back a little bit for the folks here. Yes, I was looking at the wrong monitor, which happens, and this isn't just like easy, I like go a little bit crazy back there on the drums.
That's right.
Well, I think it's sped up a little bit, isn't it?
It might have been. As a drummer, I was kind of like going, "Are we getting a little Buster Keaton action back there on
it
the
is.
drums?"
Yes,
You know,
it is.
that's okay.
Wait till the backdrop falls on him.
Speed it up to where everything sounds like the drum parts of Hot for Teacher, right?
Now, where was that one venue in there?
Shanahan's in Vancouver.
In Vancouver.
Yeah.
So is it? I mean, do you find a lot of? So what's it like, kind of playing around? Like around in venues and stuff. Is it easy? Is it harder? Because we were talking about the 80s, and sometimes it would be kind of difficult.
Different.
It's every place is different. For me, it's like I'm kind of built for it. I've been doing this for 30 years. Playing out. So
Yeah.
It's just kind of ingrained in me. Just go out and play. And you kind of.
How often do you guys play?
Let's see. We try to play locally at least once a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, out-of-town stuff as it comes up.
Yeah,
You know, like we're working on doing some stuff in Tacoma and Seattle.
Nice.
Salem, you know.
Do you have like a do you have a home venue? Do you like kind of have a house like once a month? You appear-
Shanahan's used to be that way, but then they had some management changes and music went away. I believe it's back now, but we haven't been back in a while.
So I mean, what's it? What's it like out there? Because there's always these ebb and flow. It happens in Portland and other places where there's these periods of time where it's like, where's the live music anywhere?
It's kind of tough right now.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah,
a lot of closing down.
A lot
of venues
Rock
closed.
Hard, PDX closed, O'Malley's closed, the Garage is closed. So I mean, it's getting a little slim, especially for the original bands.
O'Malley's did close.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. See, that's and the Ash Street.
Ash Street's gone.
Ash Street's gone.
Tiger Bar's gone.
Tiger Bar's
Oh,
gone.
Tiger Bar. Jeez, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So right now, honestly, one of the better places is East Side Bar and Grill on 82nd.
Mm-hmm.
The staff, the promoter Brenda Tipton, she's doing a really great job there. They don't cater to just one genre. It's across the board. They've got country acts, they've got punk acts, they've got metal acts, they've got rock acts. They do cover bands, they do tribute bands, they do it all.
See, that's the problem when the venues start to, and that's really interesting. I appreciate that because I know with all the, what would you say, gentrification, all the things that are happening in Portland where a lot of real estate developers are shutting down old places, and a lot of the times these are old places that have bars.
Right, like the Copper Penny.
Yeah.
I mean, that building doesn't even exist anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or most recently, Ash Street.
Yeah.
Had been kind of a staple of the Portland scene for years and years, and just
Well,
gone.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not going to say it. But yeah, so I was just going to say that might have been a way to kind of exterminate all the bugs out of the penny all those years. Come on, ladies, come on. I have an interesting story about that, about the owner pulling a gun on our
Which venue?
Copper Penny.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Off air.
Yeah.
I think I know exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think the story was he does that to everybody.
Right. It's a Me Too thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's like I don't know. Get close to the safe.
Yeah.
Right.
But the thing is those places close down, like you said. Then the diversity, because it's like, well, this was kind of your hard rock club, or this was your reggae club, or your blues club, or whatever. So that's good to know.
There's still, country's still doing great, because there's places like the Ponderosa and Trails End, and and people and that crowd they're rabid. I mean, they love
live
going
music,
out, and,
sure.
and they dance and they stuff like that. There's still tons of blues clubs, so that's great. But on the original end of things, it's getting a bit slim, But that's kind of, in my opinion, that's kind of the nature of the business,
right? Right.
Clubs close and clubs open, and it's back and forth and back and forth. I mean, back when I started playing, it was like Eli's, and and the Bone upstairs, and the Moose Head, and none of those places are here now.
Right.
So hopefully some other venues open up, and
I think the problem is though that a lot of these places get they get torn down, and then it's a development, right? A modern development,
right?
And I don't know that the developer or the tenants or anything have let's put in a rock saloon in here. No, it's more like
let's put a music bar.
Let's put a cafe or
nothing sadder
a
than
wine
watching
bar.
Somebody take a drum riser off a stage and put a DJ box up there.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that a lot of I think venues that younger generation folks go to, often it's more like a kind of a DJ,
or
outfit.
a karaoke bar, or a
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, that's there's a small group of us bands in the PDX area that we're we're approaching it differently. We're doing it the way we want to do it. You know, it's like we're not skimping here and there and trying to scratch up a gig in town. It's like if we want to play and we want to expand, well, then we start looking out of town.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
because quite frankly, it's like Salem's only an hour away. Tacoma's a couple hours away. Hood River.
yeah.
I mean, you know, these places are readily accessible to all of us.
Yeah.
You know,
How about Bend? Do you guys?
I've got people who want us to come to Bend, but you know, Bend's a little bit of a trek.
And
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I've got people who want us to come to Eugene. You know, but that takes a little bit of preparation. You know, that's not drive down, you know, that afternoon, play your show and drive
Right,
back.
yeah, no,
you know?
it's a weekend of it,
Right.
or a little,
You know,
something.
we've got
a road trip.
You know, we've got a number of venues in like the Seattle area, Bellingham, things like that, you know, are wanting us to come up. That it just takes planning.
Yeah,
You know?
the coast too.
Mhm.
The
I
coast.
mean, I actually, I've been talking
I
to
like
some
the blues
people
out there.
about doing like a West Coast tour, say like Bellingham,
oh yeah,
Seattle, Tacoma, Vancouver, Portland, you know, Salem,
Call that like-
Eugene, you know, all the way down to the Bay Area.
call it a sub pop tour.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Right.
do it old school.
I mean, that's pretty much you know, Kurt Cobain and
Yeah.
you know,
And it worked.
all the guys. Yeah, just the I-5 corridor and
right.
Eastern Washington
Yep.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun to hear about the interconnectedness of all too the I-5 corridor, all the bands that have kind of gone through, you know, and done that.
It follows the professional wrestling, Jason.
It does.
Think about right.
It does.
It was like,
Okay.
okay.
Doc Scott.
Got my coffee with Curmudgeons on right here, right, Jason?
Okay.
Got a new one. Okay, don't tell anybody.
No,
We're not
no one's
sharing this
listening.
with
Don't worry
everyone.
about it. It's cool.
Just hang out, guys, for a second. We're having a little coffee with Curmudgeons production business meeting.
Okay.
Why don't we host?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
A wrestling rock and roll I-5 corridor tour.
We could do that.
And,
Wrestling.
throw a little comedy in there. We could probably ask Amanda.
Yeah, we could probably do that. It would be like a traveling, almost
Wrestling and rock
yeah,
and a little
Like a
comedy.
traveling sideshow.
it would be like a combination between carnival / faith healer.
Dude,
We show up in the
wait. Faith healer, did you say? Wait a minute. Now you're on. Now you hit the cream
We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
of the cappuccino, man.
Right.
I like it.
You play a little Neil Diamond in the background, you know, Brother Loves Salvation show.
No, we
That'd be
can't
like,
do
oh
that.
my God,
We
this
don't
is
have that release.
No.
Yeah, we don't have our CSAC license.
All right, let's move in now to a Brinksmen production meeting.
Okay.
Hey, Doug, you guys want to write a song about traveling inside?
Yes, you got it. I'll do my best.
Now think about it though.
Yeah. we
People
should take
love wrestling.
Yeah.
People love rock and roll.
Yeah.
Throw a little comedy in there.
Yeah.
And maybe you're right. Maybe a little preaching too, because people love
Little
that.
preaching,
You know, a little preaching comedy. You know, I mean, unfortunately,
Selling some
find some guy
rheumatiz
like
medicine.
find some guy kind of like a old late Sam Kinison or something. Throw him in the mix. And
Yeah,
we got a show,
little
man.
rock and roll Jesus.
I could do it if you want.
Yeah,
I have done.
we got a show.
I have done tent revivals.
I don't know.
I did. Yeah.
I seriously, I mean, I would go to a show where I'd see wrestling, you know, and rock.
Yes. The whole.
What's a weirdest show you guys have been to, like? Weirdest venue?
Yeah.
Like the one that you came away and you went, oh man, what was that all
Yeah.
about?
Whose idea was
don't-
it to book us at a bar mitzvah?
Yeah, you don't have to use names or whatever.
Yeah. No.
What,
Yeah.
what do you think, Mark?
The weirdest place.
Like you were just like, what the heck? see, look at
he's got something in
Speechless.
mind. He knows. I don't know if I want to say this.
Like I say, you don't have to. You can be vague
Yeah, it's very vague.
about the names have been changed.
Oh,
This week on Coffee with Curmudgeons, Stump the Drummer.
right.
Drummer. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be really funny if you said, "Yeah, the strangest place I ever." Well, it's actually going on right now. We're down here in Milwaukee.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It's yet to come, probably.
I was gonna say what's the strangest place you've ever done a gig before? In the bottom. You guys got that. You guys got that.
I'm not saying
It's a famous urban legend from the Newlywed Game.
right.
Newlyweds, where was the strangest place you made whoopee?
Oh, I got it. In the bottom.
It's an old coffee with curmudgeons.
No, probably the strangest place was actually the same building as Rock Hard PDX, but when it was previously a strip club.
Okay.
And this was back when I was in the Erotic Politicians. And literally, I mean, the stage wasn't anything like it was at Rock Hard. And we were on this stage, the dancers are dancing, and there's a pole in the middle of the stage. That we have to like work around to get anywhere because it's like right in the way of everything, you know, like where your lead singer would stand. That's where the pole was.
So when you were performing, was there someone
on stage with us? No.
On the pole?
No.
Okay.
You
Could
know?
you get the lead singer to hang from the pole? You know, and just kind of like maybe a Speedo or something.
Well, we just weren't really sure that we wanted to touch it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
I mean,
that was a weird experience. You know?
That's kind of a Portland thing.
Yeah.
In a way, having the club next door to the, you know, exotic dance location.
I did an acoustic show back in the early '90s at Tugboat Brewery, which was like right next door to Ash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and it was like, you know, and so my drummer at the time was a smoker. And so we're in between sets, and he asked the guy behind the counter, "Hey, is there a cigarette machine somewhere?" He goes, "Oh yeah, just go down this hallway, and you know you can't miss it." You go down the hallway, and it's, oh, there's the cigarette machine, and so I'm following him, and it's like, we're in a strip club.
Yeah.
They were somehow connected. I don't know if they shared a bathroom. I don't know, but on one side, like it was this quiet little like brewery, you know, have a pint and just chill out. It was very small, maybe held 15 people. You know, it was just a very small. That we were doing an acoustic show, and but you just walk down this hallway and the entire environment changed. It was that was strange.
Right.
Well, see again. If someone's offended, that's a very Portland thing.
Yes, it is.
You know, it just is a Portland thing. It's like,
I mean, we didn't think anything about it, except that it was odd. It's
because,
like we're in like I said, a tiny little sit-down little, you know, have a pint place, and you just walk down this hallway, and the whole thing changed. It was like, oh, hey, wait, where are we? You know,
Right.
Portland, for whatever reason, likes its naked dancing. I mean,
right?
I mean, it reminds me of like Mary's Club. The oldest club in Portland, a tourist attraction of all.
Yeah,
places.
isn't that strange?
You know, they share a thing with this. In fact, Santeria, the Mexican restaurant.
Oh yeah,
That's the
yes.
place. You know,
Yeah.
which good place actually.
Yeah.
Santeria, this is right there. So I mean, it's like
the other
not the
thing is-
only club that shares like facilities or
Right.
food or bathrooms or whatever. You know.
Right. So let's work that in. Right. Well, no, let's work that into like with all the venues closing and stuff like that. I mean, are you guys? And I'm talking more metaphorically. Are bands going to find themselves on more bills that are more eclectic? Because you know, less places are doing the open venues. You're just trying to get on a bill, and
I would hope so.
I'm with a
You know.
I
I think that depends on how open-minded the band is. I just had a conversation with somebody. It was hilarious. They got a message. This was a promoter in Portland. They got a message from a guy in a band, and I'm not going to say who they were or anything like that. But they asked the promoter, "What do you promote?" They say, "Well, music and the local scene, and you know, local bands." Right, but what genre do you promote? Well, we promote all genres.
Oh right.
It goes, So is it rock or metal?
Oh wow. Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, no, all of them. You know, it's just, so I think that it really depends on, you know, the band. You know, like we wouldn't have any issues playing with a punk band or a country band. I mean, you know, because we have those vibes.
You actually kind of are a good fit for that, right?
Yeah,
In a
you
way,
know,
like
yeah.
you're a good like middle fit between.
Right. You
You
know.
And
Yeah,
people
so we would do it in a heartbeat.
and the audience is more open to that. Another thing about the '80s is as diverse and interesting as it was also very segmented.
Yes.
So it was like, okay, if you like two genres of music, you're going to go to two totally different
different
places
shows, yeah.
with two totally different crowds.
Right.
And all of that, you know. And when the two mixed, it got weird, believe me.
Yeah, there were some weird
Satyricon.
nights at Satyricon.
Yeah, no, it was like Metal Night at Satyricon was just like, this is weird, you know.
Yeah.
But
tomorrow the punk bands will be here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so I mean that to me is a good thing. I just imagine that you know, eventually here in 6 months or so, y'all just be crammed in a bathroom somewhere, like maybe adjacent to a strip club, and a Mexican restaurant is like, hey, can you get the drums in here, man? I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll revisit where the weirdest place is 6 months down the line. It's like,
the weirdest.
yeah, we did that bathroom thing.
What about? Well, I mean, but then the other big thing, aside from venues closing down and you know this ebb and flow, and again from our, I think all of us, our perspective, we've been around here a long time. We've seen this happen, so we know this. We know this gig, right? You know, it's on a downslide. Maybe it'll be on an upside. But one thing you see in Portland and the area now, huge amount of like festivals, like national.
Right.
I mean, you know.
Right. And that's a whole nother level of musicianship, really.
Yeah.
I mean, there's.
You guys play any? Festivals.
Yeah,
and stuff? Because it seems to me like that's a big.
Like we've played the Clark County Fair for like the last 5 years or so. You know, I've done the Multnomah County Fair. I've done, you know, there's been
Brewfest.
Yeah.
Zombie Brewfest in Washougal. You know,
But I mean, those things like, you know, like the Blues Festival got huge. I mean, that was several years ago, and then like Pickathon just blew up several years. You know, all these things are just happening. You know,
down in Central Oregon is about the Guitars Under the Stars. That's it goes on.
Yeah, they just keep coming up, and they get like large numbers. These are large.
Well, I mean, even on the the tribute band aspect, you know, there's Hairfest.
Hairfest,
I mean, it's
what's
huge.
Hairfest?
Oh wow!
It's nothing but hard rock tribute bands.
Yeah, Jason Fellman, who is runs JFL Productions. He's the go-to guy if you want to book any sort of tribute bands, and so he decided, I'm going to do this whole festival where it's nothing but tribute bands outside, and now it's over at Pat's Acres out there in just outside of Wilsonville. It used to be in Canby though, up at the Wild Hare, but it's morphed into this
Fest.
HARE,
and it's morphed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, HAR because it's through the Wild Hare.
Okay, I was imagining like 80s. You know, hey, we're the Quiet Riot Band. Hey,
there's Guns N' Roses.
Appetite for Deception.
Van Halen. One of the coolest surrealist things I saw was last year. They had a Heart tribute band. The two ladies that do the Heart tribute band.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one of the guys that sat in on the set was the original guitar player for Heart. Here's a guy that's in the rock. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and now he's.
Doesn't that kind of disqualify them because they're not a tribute band?
Oh man,
that is
paying homage to oneself,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a tribute anymore.
Yes, to me.
That's
well,
it's close
because that's like Creedence Clearwater Revisited.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a. Are you a tribute band if you have an original member? You'd have to take that to the music court.
Yes, it's to the People's Court with Judge Wapner and the music court. Let's see, we got to find a good judge for the music court.
Alice Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
Alice would be good.
You know what? Yeah.
Alice would be good. Or
Alice Cooper would be.
or
perfect
if
for
she's
that.
in good health, I wouldn't mind Aretha Franklin because she's gonna get.
Yeah.
You got to respect.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Wow, it's right here. I just pulled this up because I was the things I learn here on my own on the show. Here it is. Hairfest 8.
Yeah.
July 12th through 14th.
Yep.
So coming up. Thursday, July 12th, Stone in Love, Journey,
Yep.
Ramble On, Led Zeppelin. I've heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
Night of Bowie,
Mm-hmm.
Grand Illusion, Styx, Eagle Eyes, the Eagles. Wow. Guns N' Roses, Queen, Aerosmith, Heart, Unchained, Van Halen,
Yeah.
Love Drive, the Scorpions. Holy, this is great.
So if you want to escape to the 80s over a weekend, there you go, man.
Yeah.
Bust out your spandex.
Right?
Now. Let's
That
not
would-
get too far ahead of ourselves, shall we?
That would get me kicked right out of there.
Oh, come on, Jason.
I have thoughts, Jason.
They're
Do another
dirty
one of
ones,
those.
but
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can get into the David Lee Roth of
Yeah.
buttless chaps and
There
see
you
if
go.
I can make that. How come you're leading me off the fairgrounds?
Look at this. They got pictures here too.
Got the fucking words, man.
Look at this. Look at this.
Right.
Here's some photos of a hair fest. There's a David Lee Roth guy doing the jump. Oh,
Yeah.
AC/DC. Wow, that's
It's
crazy.
quite its own thing out there, and
Is that Evans?
they've got major
David Lee Roth? Is that?
Yeah, Unchained, the band that they do that.
Yeah.
Appetite for Deception, which is a
I'm just thinking.
GNR, which is a rock.
That guy, man, he is Axel to a T, man.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, come on, his name is Cook, Brandon Cook.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he is a mean guitar player.
Yes, he is.
And as a sideline, he's also the guitarist of I don't know if he still is, but he's the guitarist of Black and Blue.
Oh, yeah, he's one of them, yeah.
He is.
But he
Oh,
also
really?
has his Metamorphosis band
Yeah.
and another heavier band.
Yeah,
Can't remember what it is, though.
I just figured we could just form the Black and Blue tribute band.
sure, sure. Well,
No,
We-
because
we-
Jamie's still doing it, and he's still singing.
They
we need
are.
to do a,
Wow.
We need to do a tribute band for a tribute band.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Oh, there
just
we go.
Blow
Sub-
people's minds. you know?
Subtribes.
We could. I know.
See, I never understood in the tribute band stuff, I mean, all those guys are great and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but why wouldn't you play it smart and tribute somebody like a supergroup, like Damn Yankees or something like that, where you get
Yeah.
everybody's material to pull from, It's
Yeah.
like, oh, let's play some Styx tunes or some Ted tunes or some
Yeah.
Night Ranger,
Well, Van Halen, though. I mean, you got Dave's stuff, and you got
the
Sammy's stuff,
and the
then
Gary Sharon
the
stuff.
Gary Sharon Van Halen 3 stuff. And I know people are going to want to hear that.
Yeah.
But no, it's kind of interesting, these festivals. It's like you can it's almost step back in time, right? It's the 80s again.
I've got thoughts here. I mean, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Well, I know we probably both need a wig, and then
At least.
we'll,
In my case, it's major cosmetic surgery.
yeah, and then we'll see what kind of we'll see what I can just see you in kind of a Rob Halford kind of a look.
Yeah, yeah. Back in the days when I had long red hair, nowadays it'd be full wig.
So, like the guy from Simply Red?
Oh my God!
Who's that one guy?
Or Rick Astley?
Holding on.
Or was it more Rick Astley looking?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm thinking Paul. Who's that guy? He was in the 70s. Paul Williams. That's who I'd look
Paul
like.
Williams.
No.
They're like, oh my God, when did Paul Williams get on the stage? I'm like, I'm not Paul.
Right.
With or without the Cornelius Planet of the Apes outfit, because that's my favorite Paul Williams.
Yeah, he was good. I could probably break
Was
out
that
an old.
Zayas?
Zayas, yeah,
Yes,
thanks,
Zayas.
Zayas. I can't remember. Yeah, it was Zayas. See, look,
Yes.
these guys know their stuff.
Right.
They know their stuff. If you go up online, Google Paul Williams,
Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes, Johnny Carson, or something like that,
Yeah.
and you will find Paul Williams, who had just got off the set of filming Planet of the Apes. Was
Oh,
that
so he's still in all the getup
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
on Carson.
yeah.
That's
He comes in
awesome.
and sings one of his songs at the piano in his full Planet of the Apes
That's-
makeup. You've never seen it?
I've never seen that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
It's famous.
When
Oh, yeah.
when I grow
It's
up, I want to do
great too.
that.
You're just like, and he just comes out, sits down, and starts playing. You know, in the Zayas. You know,
Yeah.
it's hilarious.
That's,
Wow.
It's awesome.
I'll do what I need to do. There's no I in
See if
team.
I can find.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'd get a hit, but you know, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. So let's see.
Keyboard players are weird that way.
Well,
Yeah.
it's Paul Williams though. You know, the more you like, you know, it's like it's Paul Williams, man. It's Paul freaking. He's a guy I would go see.
Paul
You know,
Williams.
like I would go see, like you're in Vegas or whatever, and it'd be like Paul Williams, like
So you
yeah,
go
I'd go
see a
see that.
Paul Williams tribute band?
You know what?
That's what I'm thinking about right now. Things are stirring.
Yeah, I would.
Things are
That
stirring.
Paul Williams and who's the guy who sings "All by Myself"?
Eric Carmen.
Eric Carmen. Come on.
Yeah, and he's got to get out there and do that, and then do the one he did for Dirty Dancing. You know? Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, the songwriters.
Eric
You know,
Carmen.
Yeah.
Oh.
there's got to be Elton John
Elton John.
You
tribute.
would hope so.
Maybe a
Folks,
Carole
you would
King sort of tribute.
Yeah,
Carole King, you know.
Paul Williams and Eric Carmen.
Yeah. That's
That one.
what would be the name of that band? Holy cow.
I don't know.
Could we throw in the guy from Tony Orlando and Don too? Just to
Oh.
just
man.
even you know, just a
Oh, the Tony. Oh man.
or the Hudson Brothers. Remember them from the
Oh man, now you got me going. Now I want to go down to that Hairfest 8, but I
Right.
want to see the Tony Orlando and Don tribute band.
Yes.
Opening act.
I don't think they'd let them in.
The Captain and Tennille tribute band.
Yeah.
Come on.
We'll call it let's see, Tony
Little
Orlando
Muskrat
and Don,
Love.
Muskrat Tea Captain and Tennille.
Come on.
Yes. Listen, if I have to, I will be Tennille.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'll show up in the skirt and everything. It may not look pretty, but
Yeah.
may not sound
Oh my god.
You do that, then I'll be Karen Carpenter.
Oh,
There you go. You'd have to have the Carpenters.
Yeah.
The
Hey.
Carpenters band.
Rainy days and Mondays always get me down.
I wonder if there's a DeBarge tribute band.
Oh my God.
Gosh, El DeBarge.
And Chico.
Yeah.
Oh.
Couldn't we do like a boy band tribute band?
Yeah.
So people would look and say, "Oh my God, what are they doing up there?" Yeah, we're here to blow your minds.
We're the new kids.
Yeah, we're the old men in the neighborhood. We're not the new kids on the block. We're the old boys. Yeah.
Please get off my lawn.
And run our walkers, you know, doing
Yeah.
the right stuff.
What's
Just a thought.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who would be like just the worst tribute band you could think of. Because then that will be there's always Tiny Tim, right?
Tiny Tim, yeah.
That's always a little bit difficult, you know.
Oh
But
gosh.
who do you find who's going to be that good on a ukulele?
Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Very
Slim
true.
Whitman.
Slim Whitman.
Boxcar Willie.
Ooh,
Boxcar.
there you go.
Yeah.
Burl Eye. I think we're coming up with our own Hairfest night.
Yeah.
Call the promoters. I was like, no, we got some ideas for you.
For a live tribute band, there's only 3 people in the audience, and me and Doc are 2 of them. You know, and we got tears coming down our face. Sing silver and gold again, please.
Silver and gold, silver and gold. Come on. Every
it.
Christmas, are you kidding me? That's like watching the Peanuts. I mean, come on.
I've got it.
Come on.
I've got it.
I'm calling it at Engelbert Humperdinck.
That's what I was
Oh.
There
That's
we
what I was
go.
about to say, Engelbert Humperdinck. After
The
the
lovin'.
lovin'. Yeah.
You know,
But then we get Tom Jones to come and beat the crap out of him.
yeah.
Yeah, they hate each other, so.
Celebrity death match.
Right.
See, my
Tony Bennett shows up and just
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cage match.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
wrestling and tribute bands.
Yeah, you know,
I-
the 2 Welshmen against each other.
We're working this, you know. Oh, and then a little Van Morrison comes in, and then you're really screwed.
Van the man.
Man.
Yeah, he gets, you know.
he gets a little worked out. Yeah.
But seriously, there it is. It's like
Yeah.
really, really bad people you never want to see tribute band of.
You know?
Only in like the like really the far corners of Reno, Nevada, in a smoky casino with one slot machine.
The Yoko Ono Band tribute band.
There you go.
Ooh.
There you go.
Ooh.
There you go. But but you can't.
What,
can't.
that comes under artsy now?
No,
or
you
what?
can't. No, you can't do it. I mean, she's out there. She's doing her. She does her thing. She does her thing. You know.
How about like a Tiffany or Deborah Gibson mall tour of tribute?
I feel like we're still not.
We're not quite there yet.
We're
are
not
we?
quite there yet. I mean, so I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
the Engelbert Humperdinck.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Very
fantastic.
familiar.
Yeah.
My parents had the record,
Oh yeah.
the After the Lovin' and all that, you know, and it was like the hippest record that they had in the collection. So it was like, you know, I'd have to wait for my uncle to come over with the Elvis records and be like, oh, thank God you brought Elvis. You
So
know?
there's a lot of Perry Como being played then.
Oh, Perry Como tribute.
Yeah, Perry. Because you know, at least
'Cause,
he's
you know,
got
you
the
can't-
Hawaiian shirt on.
Yeah, you can't really, you can't do the Perry Como tribute. It's just not possible because you will never top Rick Moranis on SCTV with his Perry Como.
So relaxed.
Yeah, still alive. The
Right.
Perry Como tribute.
Or Will Ferrell's Christmas take on Robert Goulet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Is he doing okay, by the way?
Who? I know he got in an accident.
He was in an accident.
Yeah,
I mean, you just shouldn't laugh. You know, it was like,
Right.
Yeah,
kind of
I know he made his first public appearance since that, so I guess he's
I think everyone's okay.
all right.
Yeah, I mean, he got released from the hospital.
Yeah,
We could be laughing about it, and it'd be like, "Oh yeah, Tracy Morgan." Yeah, oh okay.
I got it. Oh, I
No,
got
that's
it.
a bad joke.
I got it. Here we go. We're now we're brainstorming here. What if we bill it as like the brand new Rat Pack, except we bring in like except we put like the Paul Williams guy in, the Engelbert Humperdinck guy in, and then in our first we could have like the first gig be like a Chuck E. Cheese or something, just because we need a place to start.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Yeah. I think
let's talk about the
There we
Brinksmen
go.
again.
call
All
it
right,
the Rat Hole Pack.
The rat roll pack.
Yeah.
he gets a bonus. By the way, he's now employee of the month, and he gets a bonus.
I get the parking spot.
You get
Yeah.
the preferred parking. And you'd be a
So
key
there we
bonus.
go. That's perfect. We can start working on Chuck E. Cheese as
Yeah.
the new music venue. For
Yes.
Do a place where no one would ever think about you're doing it. Like, you know, maybe if there's any more Kmart's open left, we could
yeah.
do the Kmart. We could do that because we can do the blue light special.
Yeah.
Well, the Kmart doesn't exist anymore.
I know. We got I don't know.
Does Sears exist anymore? I don't think so.
Could do
That was a great idea. Hey, we're gonna buy Kmart.
Yeah. See ya.
You know, it was like,
we could do the Toys R Us farewell tour.
yeah, there you go.
We can do that
Toys R Us.
farewell tour. It'd be like the Stones in '72. Except it's like
That was the.
so.
That was our lead singer. He at one point wore a "I'm a Toys R Us kid" T-shirt on stage. That was one of his stage gear.
Did they have Jeffrey actually on it?
I don't know. I think he would have been arrested or something. I don't know. God
You
knows.
guys
what-
got stage gear?
stage gear.
Yeah, because back in the '80s, the one thing I always wore was this tank top with like the Japanese rising sun.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you
Yeah.
could have been in my band.
Yeah.
You were you were
Long red
secretly
hair.
wanting. You were like, I saw those guys. I
Yeah.
really like them. If I wear the rising sun, maybe
Well,
I can.
unbeknownst to you, I was the guy that took over that one gig you guys did where I kicked the lead singer off the stage, and I said, "Not tonight. We're not Tokyo. We're Osaka."
Oh, there you go.
Osaka.
Osaka. Damn it,
Osaka
that
to
is a
me.
good name, isn't it?
Osaka.
Osaka.
Or what's that one? Ortho.
You know-
what was the guy from the Rajneesh?
Ortho.
Otho.
Osho.
Osho.
I do
That's a great
like
name.
that though. He actually used to do ortho. Is like when you want to clean out the restaurant in your salad bar, just put a little fertilizer on it.
Ortho there.
We cook this up.
What is coming
Oh,
up
dear
with
Lord.
the? What's coming up with the Brinksmen over the next summer here? What are we doing?
Let's see. Let's
Oh,
see. This next
man.
month we're at the Rumpus Room with Sons of Richard.
Okay, so the Rumpus Room.
Yes.
Where's that?
What is
Division?
that? Southeast.
Is it Powell or Division?
think it's Division. It's on Division.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never been there.
Dude, this is it's kind of a cool place. It truly is an old school shuffleboard bar.
Oh, wow.
And you can go in there and play shuffleboard.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's actually really cool.
Nice. Okay.
Southeast Division.
Yes, the Rumpus Room.
104.
Let's see, and then we're at Billy Blues Bar and Grill in Vancouver in June, and with we've got the Boondock Boys, Skylar and Christian. They're doing a acoustic duo
Nice.
to open for us.
They're awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. Then let's see. We are at the Analog.
Analog.
In July.
Oh, the Analog.
Yeah.
With
Tuesday's Project.
Tuesday's Project.
And
cool.
a band from New Orleans who was on tour. They're called the Rain something. I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I was sitting home, and the lead singer of Tuesday's Project, Rob, who I affectionately called him Rock and Roll Jesus, because he does. He looks like Jesus. It's
does.
great.
Yeah.
And so he messaged and said, "Hey, we got this band coming in from New Orleans. We need a duo or a trio. What do you think?" And I came out with
The Brinksmen.
the Brinksmen.
Yeah.
Said,
Wow.
get a hold of Doug,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And
You know what's funny is that I've actually known Rob for many years. When I was in the Erotic Politicians, he was a singer in a band called Straight Edge. What is it? Straight Edge Buddhist Hookers or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they were kind of a punk band and everything like that. And they were talking. They said, "Oh well, we need to record a demo and all this." And I told him, "Here's the guy to call. Call Tom."
Yeah.
You know, and long
It's
career
history
working with
from there.
Tom. Yeah.
Yeah. Love Tom. Yeah.
The Analog Cafe.
Yeah.
Cafe. Is it
Good
cafe?
fries.
Good fries. They
Great,
got good
they
French
got
fries.
great fries. They don't even have ketchup in the building. They put vinegar on them.
Wow.
Don't
Ooh.
ask for anything
Oh
else.
wow. Mm. Oh, that's a
I've
that's a
actually
good way to
never
go.
been to the Analog.
They're so good.
Yeah, I mean it's been there for quite some time, and it's
Yeah.
really become kind of a
Yeah, one of the owners is the
ven-
guy.
venue.
Donnie, right?
Yeah, it's from the band Smooch Knob.
Right.
It was kind of an art gallery first. I remember when it kind of opened up, but now it's really
It's just a music venue now. Yeah.
music venue.
Yeah.
Now, is it an all ages venue?
There is downstairs is the downstairs one is for 21 and over because that's where the big bar is,
Right.
and then upstairs that's where their all age shows are.
Oh. I have no idea which one we're on.
Yeah,
I'll have to find that out.
I'm just gonna stand right in the middle.
Good.
Stand on the stairs.
Where do I go?
So we've got we're at the Analog in July. August we're at the Clark County Fair, and like the 11th or so. August 31st we are at Eastside Bar and Grill again. And then we're working on something in October right now for Tacoma. Hopefully it will be at a brand new club called the Plaid Pig.
The Plaid Pig.
The Plaid Pig.
Yeah, they're working on it right now. So, but that, like I said, that isn't solid. So
Yeah, cool. I like the fact that you guys are gearing up for summer here.
Yeah.
Got some dates coming out.
we've also got a ton of recording that we need to do, and so it's going to be busy.
Yeah. I want to check out the Analog. I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like good.
Last time I was there, I saw the Shrike.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
so Mark's good friends with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in a band. I used to play with those guys all the time.
They just added a couple new
Yeah, they did.
members too.
Yeah.
So that's good. I mean, so there are these places to play that are pretty cool.
There's still the old Kenton Club,
That's right.
They still
the
go.
That's right.
The Kenton Club.
Yep.
Oh man, it doesn't get
Yeah.
any better than
That
that.
goes way back, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're still doing it.
Yeah.
And that's
Missis-
probably the oldest club in town.
Yeah.
yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I think so.
Also, the Secret Society out there in North Portland too.
Right.
And the
I got
Wonder
the
Ball.
Wonder Ballroom, Crystal
Yeah,
Ballroom.
Crystal. Crystal Bar. And also Mississippi Pizza Pub.
Yeah.
Right.
Good one.
Mississippi. That's
Hawthorne.
right.
Hawthorne's still around.
Hawthorne, yeah.
And
Well, I thought the Hawthorne. Okay. See, this whole show is about venues in Portland. I'm trying to figure out where's the live music.
Yeah.
But it's good though. I thought the Hawthorne was turned into the arcade.
Yeah, as far as I know,
'Cause they-
Hawthorne's still going, but they have last thing I heard was
That was an arcade.
the building
Oh.
had gotten bought,
Yeah.
and they were going to take out the Hawthorne.
Talking about the theater, right?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
going to take out that part, and then it was going to be an upstairs and a downstairs. Downstairs was going to be like a Starbucks or something like that.
Yeah.
And then like apartment lofts or whatever.
Really?
Second one, yeah. I heard
That's
that.
interesting.
Yeah. it's-
Considering that, I know a couple of buddies of mine that, have contracts signed with them to
Right.
play gigs there.
Right. Well, I heard about this October maybe of last year, so I think this is still like 2 years away.
Right.
Huh.
So
It looks like they do have. I'm looking here on their website,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
oh, okay. I get mixed up.
Okay.
This is always my confusion with this venue. Hawthorne Theater is Hawthorne and 39th.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, the upstairs and the downstairs. That's
Yes.
why. And yeah, there was a for lease sign
Yeah.
out there for a while. Because I get out there. I always get the Hawthorne Theater with the one on Mount Tabor. What's that one called?
Oh.
That's the one that turned into the arcade.
Yes, that used to be Alhambra or
Yeah.
Yeah, Alhambra.
Sabalas, Mount-
But it was called the Hawthorne.
Mount Tabor Theater
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah,
Or-
theater. Well, when I played there, it was the Hawthorne Theater, and they had two rooms. They had like the kind of the main movie
Yes.
room.
Yep.
And then they had the sidebar. I think we played in the
Lola's.
sidebar.
Lola's.
Lola's, yeah, I played at Lola's.
Yeah.
Did a few things at Lola's.
Mhm.
That's the one I always get mixed up on because they turned that into an arcade.
Right.
It was more across from the space room next to the Bach
Right.
and
Right.
all those places. So
Space Room, that's a cool place.
But of course, there's still Dante's is still around.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
The Star
they're not
Theater.
going anywhere, yeah.
Dante's, yeah.
Roseland's not going anywhere.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And then I heard that there's another thing that's opening here late this year, early next year. It's a brand new music venue in the Pearl District.
Oh, wow.
They're opening, and a guy from California coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be swanky.
Yeah.
Where are you
I
going
don't-
with all that beer?
Right.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't know the vibe of it or what
Right.
they're going for, but that's just what I heard. That they're gonna be opening a 500 seat sort of.
Oh, wow.
Really?
So like a big Doug Fir, probably.
Kind of, yeah, that's
There
what I'm
you go.
thinking of too.
Yeah.
Well, something like that. Yeah.
Doug Fir is another place that
Yeah.
Doug Fir.
Yeah.
like so there's places out there. I don't know. See, I just I'm a shut in. I never go anywhere anymore. So I'm like I have no clue. It's like
We're
oh
too-
look, Fort Lee, Hawthorne Theater.
We're
What do you
too
know
busy
about that?
down here doing video stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I spent the whole weekend doing video stuff. Oh,
Right. Yeah.
painful. Anyway, so so you got a full schedule.
Yep.
You got and are you doing any of these fairs or these venues like the big like you were talking about some of the summer
Well,
type fairs and that sort of thing?
Clark County.
Clark
Clark
County.
County.
Yeah, for sure.
When's that?
Early August, like the 11th
Oof.
or so.
So it'll be it gets hot out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't mind, though. It's fun.
Those are fun though. The big
Yeah.
stage and big
Oh.
PA and
Great stage. Yeah.
big crowd, you know. Festival seating.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if we can sneak our tribute band on for that.
Which one? The Paul Williams Engelbert Humperdinck?
Right, we're
tour?
like, "Psst, Doug, we're gonna open for you. Who is this? The Paul Williams Engelbert Humperdinck. Like,
Perfect.
You know what we could do? We could do Simon and Garfunkel and just
That would be
beat the wood.
awesome.
They
Oh.
they look nothing like Simon and Garfunkel. They can't sing,
Right.
and all they're doing is arguing about the songs up there. We could actually make that work.
Right. Here's what I'm thinking.
Isn't that how they ended up?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get a wig, and it's gonna be a big curly wig. I'm gonna put it on. I'm just gonna have my hands in my pockets like that, you know, like Garfunkel does. You know. I'm just, hey, let's do this song. No, we're gonna do this song. Oh, come on, let's do this song.
I was.
What do you think?
I don't.
Perfect.
I don't know if I told this
Change my name
story.
to Carbuncle.
Yeah.
Simon and Jason. Simon and Schuster. I don't know. That's what we'll call it. We'll call it Simon and Schuster. A tribute to.
We will totally mess with their minds. They won't see that coming.
But you could do Carly
Guyman and Sarfunkel.
You could do Carly Simon music too,
Yeah.
and she actually is related to, for real, the Simon and Schuster publishing family.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Of course, us it would be just like 45 minutes of nothing but "You're So Vain"
yeah.
over and over again. Just because what we do.
So I was setting up for video at an event, and you know how like they test the PA and all that. You guys know that, right? So whatever the board op always puts in some
Sound check.
music, right?
Right.
And this guy was a lovely dude, board op guy, really like, and he had an eclectic taste in music. And I don't know if this was his thing or somebody else plugged it in, because he would play some interesting stuff, and he was into EDM and all this. But he's a cool dude. So we're like setting up, and it's Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Okay.
It's a modern, updated version. And at one point, I go to my counterpart, who is Betty, who is a music aficionado. It's a Monday. Aficionado.
Yes.
She's very much
Knowledgeable.
very much into the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we both look at each other and at some point go, "Who the hell is singing this?"
Oh,
And we kind of like, because Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Right.
I don't know about you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys just knock out a little Bridge Over Troubled Water
Doesn't
in
everybody?
the off. Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, let's just knock out Bridge Over Troubled Water. Okay, let's go.
Right.
And we're like, what is this? And so nowadays, because we're like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to ask because
If only there was some place you could look that stuff up.
exactly. We were like, oh, I don't want to ask because you don't want to be like, you don't want to come up to the guy and go, hey, who's playing this sucky version of Bridge Over Troubled Water?
Yeah.
So you get out your phone. I think it's Shazam or one of those. They've got several of them now, apps.
Right.
And you go, turn on the microphone, listen to it,
Mm-hmm.
come back. Who's singing Bridge Over Troubled Water? Oh, it's a new it's a new Garfunkel version.
Yeah.
It was actually Art Garfunkel.
Wow.
We were like-
without the Simon.
Right.
Well, it's kind of his solo, though.
Right.
He doesn't. He kind of. But we were like, ooh, never mind.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like, and if you think about
It's
it,
a bit sad.
Didn't
but
you
it's
used
such
to
a
be?
difficult song.
Didn't you used to be Garfunkel?
Yeah.
Hey, somewhere didn't you used to? Oh, what do you mean you still are? Right.
But if you think about it, it's a very
Those are deep waters. Man.
difficult song. I
Yeah.
mean, it goes up in that range, and you're kind of like, after. I mean, I think Elton John or somebody said that, he's on his last tour or whatever, and he said, "Oh yeah, no, I don't sing up in those ranges that I used to."
No,
I mean,
you gotta
Plant doesn't anymore.
You got to tune down for it.
They
Yeah.
can't. Yeah.
I mean, you can't do it.
No one has his range.
No.
Unless you try to do it with the original range. The only guy I've ever heard that can still kind of get it out like that is Geddy Lee. He can still hit pretty
Really?
much notes.
Yeah.
David Lee Roth, on the other hand,
He's nowhere close.
Woo!
Yeah.
You listen to the Live in Tokyo, and it's like, dude, Dave, just tune it down a bit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Geddy can do it because Geddy
He can still do it.
he lost his voice for a while. He had the throat cancer and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So
No, he's good.
he must have
He can still do it.
had to do the therapy and the work and all that. Because I remember, didn't he? I thought he retired several years ago to deal with the.
That and also Neil Peart.
Well, yeah, that's a
his
story.
whole thing.
Man, I actually, honest to God, the Rush documentary, which may still be on Netflix,
It's
Beyond-
awesome.
is
Beyond the Light.
excellent.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It is an incredible
Beyond the
documentary.
lighted stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, they either have a love-hate relationship with Rush. I think they're okay. My problem is you like the band, and you're like, oh no, Neil Peart, oh yeah, they're very good, and then you're around people who they're Rush heads.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is like they wake up in the morning. It's like the dude who tokes all day. Wakes up in the morning.
wake and bake, yeah.
They wake up. They bake with Rush.
Sure.
They drive with Rush.
Yes.
And they go to bed with Rush. And there's nothing else but Rush. And you're like, dude, calm it down a little bit. Mix it up. Here's a little Who or something.
Yeah.
Anything, dude. Just try. Here's some Engelbert Humperdinch.
Right. Right.
Hey, I like this. But you know what I'm saying.
Right.
And so it was like that. And it's not just, there's other bands like that, but Rush is like that band where then those guys, and it's guys.
They're rabid,
Trust me,
yeah.
it's
They're rabid
guys.
That's
fans.
right. Yeah.
There are women who are Rush fans, no doubt,
But they're married to the guys that are the Rush fans.
Who
No,
got
no,
them
no.
into Rush? Yeah.
no, but they're not the ones who are like first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, and this and this and this. Like there's no other music that's passing by their
Right.
you know.
They wake
But that documentary is great.
Oh,
But
it
the
is.
documentary is excellent about the band. It's absolutely excellent. And Neil Peart was just like, I had no, like when I watched this documentary, you know, and I did go see him live once on one of their tours because I was like with my girlfriend at the time who was a Rush fan, and we were like, I was like, yeah, I got to see Neil Peart. He's a great drummer. I got to see him play live. I got to see them play, and it was great. But I had no idea the stuff that guy went through.
Very private guy, you know.
I like the fact that Neil Peart is still around and alive,
Yes.
and didn't just literally walk off a cliff or something.
Right.
After what went, because he lost his daughter and his wife.
Yeah.
Within the course of, was it a year?
Yeah.
It was
I
months.
think it's all within 6 months of each other.
Different circumstances. Then that's the sad thing. It was, you know, well, it was all sad, but different circumstances. One was with the daughter was a car wreck.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the wife, it was cancer.
Right.
But I mean, the guy just like, and he was a family man, you know, and all that. And so all of a sudden, you know, you're playing, you're rock and roll, and all of a sudden your family's dead.
Right.
Like literally, I mean, this is really harsh for a Monday, but it's all in the documentary, and it's just really
Coming home from tour becomes a lot different, doesn't it?
oh man, you know, I don't know. It just
His tale.
it was really good documentary.
It reminds me a lot of Roy Orbison. You guys hear about
I
his
did not know. I did not know about.
His family burned to death.
Oh, jeez.
All of his kids, his wife, everybody.
Jeez.
That's why he wore the shades. That's why he started wearing the shades after his family basically passed away. And I mean, what a thing to come back from.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's also the fact that the reason why he switched to wearing all black.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
one of the reasons is because he and Johnny both used to dress very flamboyantly in bright colors and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then Elvis started doing that.
Yeah.
And they looked at each other going, yeah, we're just going to wear black.
Gonna wear black.
Yeah.
But it's
I got it right here. I got it right here. I did not. I had.
it's a very sad tale.
Yeah.
You know, believe it or not, sometimes it's an education here.
Oh,
really,
sure.
we come up with weird stuff. Ask us about E. Howard Hunt sometime
That's right.
in the CIA. In 1966, we're talking about Roy Orbison. His wife Claudette, who he married in 1957, was killed in a motorcycle accident. Matters turned worse 2 years later when 2 of his 3 children died when his Hendersonville house burnt down.
Right.
Roy sold the lot to his best friend Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And if you want to cap that off, one of the songs he wrote as kind of therapy coming back from this was In Dreams.
Oh,
And
wow.
And when you listen to the lyrics, knowing that
Dreams.
you know now,
I
it's
had
like,
no
holy
idea.
cow, it blows your mind.
Right.
And, but, you know, Neil Peart, I mean, what takes a year off afterwards, just gets on his motorcycle and just goes to South America, you know. He
Drives all the way to South America
all the way
on
down.
his bike.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea about the Roy Orbison thing.
So I'm going to go ahead and say this. For the Brinksmen, we don't need any of that tale of woe stuff. We're going to save you the real bad times.
Yeah.
And so just go out there.
Well, we're way beyond the 27 crowd, so
That's right.
we're not joining that club. So
Right.
Yeah, you know,
27 Club. We need to get that guy.
we're all in that age where it's like, he kicked the bucket.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm a horrible person. See, I wear all
Apparently,
black.
I just turned 30 though.
Right. Yeah, but it's fatalistic now, isn't it? When we get up to middle age, it's sad. We hear about stuff and we're like, oh, man.
What you gonna do?
Right. Like mini me over the weekend.
I know,
Vern Troyer. I'm like,
Vern Troyer.
And
Did
then
you catch the bus?
Yeah, he did.
He did?
Yeah, Vern Troyer.
49 years old.
Oh, see,
Oh my God.
Just a baby, you know.
I just turned 49. That's
Oh,
Well, see,
Well,
you know.
Although,
For
yeah,
the yin and yang, you're going to be the good side, though. You're
Yeah.
you're gonna have a good year, a banner year.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask because of the Chuck E. Cheese's comment.
yeah.
Do you guys have kids or any of that or?
Mark does.
Oh, you got kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got kids that have kids. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I get kids that get kids.
I got kids.
Because I mean, you guys were talking. The reason is you guys were flippantly talking about the Chuck E. Cheese's, and I'm like,
Oh
you
yeah.
guys have kids
You know
and all?
what
Yeah.
really
if-
chapped my hide about Chuck E. Cheese? I lived in Spokane at the time,
Yeah.
and I volunteered to take, I forget how many other kids and people at birthday party down there to find out that the new Chuck E. rule,
Yeah.
get one beer,
Oh wow.
and they give you a little mark on the wrist.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what you got to do is you got to hit the bathroom every time you drink a beer, leave the kids alone, wash the mark
Oh,
off,
listen to him.
and go back through the line.
I like this plan.
It's the Chuck E. Cheese hacks.
Because it's just.
I got hacks for Chuck E. Cheese.
There's only alcohol's going to get me through this whole experience of Chuck E. Cheese. How can you take that away from me, you know?
I think, dude, it's just like I did the Chuck E. Cheese patrol a couple
did.
times, and that's a time of my life that I'll never get back.
No, it's a very soul-sucking experience. You
had
look
a-
that rat right in the eyes, and he looks at you, and he's like, I'm going to take your money, and you're going to get really bad pizza, and then you leave.
It
I
was
had
the
a-
bizarre North Korean type art of Happy Families that really struck me as interesting, where I was just like, did the same guy who painted Kim Jong Un's official portrait paint this happy family here?
They all,
Look, we are happy.
they all got a slice, and they're all looking off towards the
Oh,
glorious
dude,
future, you know?
Dude, yes.
I do have to say though, I do have in my family one of the funniest moments occurred at Chuck E. Cheese. I don't have any kids myself, but I've got brothers and they've got plenty of their own. And we were at a birthday party for one of my nephews, and he and his best friend, and so they're running around, playing the games and stuff like that. And they got that big bouncy house ball thing in there, the cage or whatever.
You know what? That would be the place where the kids break their arms.
Yeah,
That was my last experience
So
at Chuck E.
there
Cheese.
apparently was some feral child in there,
Aren't they all?
and my nephew's buddy got bit.
Yeah.
This kid bit him.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And they come running back, and my nephew goes, "Eric got bit in the balls."
Some feral child. It's like Mowgli from the Jungle Book.
What's the weirdest place you ever got bit?
Oh.
I am never going back to Chuck E. Cheese again.
Yep.
No, it's really, and you think I don't know, you think they'd sue everybody, but it's like, dude, that place is crazy. That is crazy. It's like, I mean, it's like, at least at Disneyland or somewhere, if something goes wrong, they just escort everyone off like
Everybody
Soylent Green and scoop everyone up, and it's like nothing ever happened here. They erase you from from the earth.
People die all the time at Disneyland. It's amazing.
Oh, jeez.
They do.
Your carbon footprint gets totally erased. You know? It's like you never.
Yeah.
No, it's this
according-
is factual.
I know.
If you're in the park and you dial 911, it does not go to the cops. It goes to Disney security.
Yeah, it's probably.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, they've got. Not to piss off the mouse. I mean, they're very
Wait,
good.
are you affiliated with ABC at all?
No, but
Right.
their lawyers are.
Right.
But they do a good job of that. You know, they do a real good job. That's. But if you all you got to do is go up to YouTube and type in theme park accidents.
Oh God.
Yes, there's plenty of YouTube channels dedicated
is there,
to.
Is there film of Fabio getting hit in the face with a goose?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was asked to endorse a roller coaster, so he tried it, and it was right next to a aviary bird reserve thing.
Oh, you're
and
kidding.
And one flew by, a
Oh,
goose
yeah.
or a
Right.
mallard or something or other
Right.
hit him in the face.
Right.
Oh, I can't believe it's not duck.
Yeah. But I will say,
That's one hell of a way to get some foie gras.
I remember watching the news footage of it, and he was really cool about it. He's like, I'm fine, and he says, I really like the roller coaster, but until you make it safe for the people and the birds.
Oh,
It's like
wow.
I'm not endorsing it.
Wow. Yeah. Well, he's Fabio.
Yeah,
He's Fabio. He does his Fabio
Thing.
stuff. Yeah.
I've got an idea.
He comes here once a year to
Does he?
Portland. Yeah, there's something he does, like a product or some sort of endorsement. I like
a hair thing.
No, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Hairfest.
I have no idea.
Hairfest.
Yes, he comes for Hairfest.
Right.
He's actually He's actually David Lee Roth in the.
He actually is David.
Wow.
In
He doesn't mean Panama. It's really good.
No, he comes to Portland for some sort of thing, and I know people who go like it's a weird thing. It's like Fabio appearing, signing some product at Trader Joe's, and people are like, hey, I went into Trader Joe's and got some hash browns, and Fabio was there. I mean, it's that kind of a
He
weird.
probably has a winery or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everybody else.
Right.
Yeah, Greg Norman's biting him in the nuts.
I got an idea. Doug and the Brinksmen can do the soundtrack for it, so we get the music all
Okay.
squared away. Okay. What if we do the show Cops, right?
Yeah.
What if we change it and it's like Disney Cops?
There we go.
Bad
See,
boys.
but-
Then they get the little ears on, and they're like, "You're under arrest."
The thing about that is it's
You're
like,
under arrest.
that would be cool. That actually would be. I hate reality TV. I would watch Disney Cops.
I would too. They come busting out, up against the wall.
No, I would watch.
Ooh, you better not let me frisk you.
Gorge.
Gorsh.
Come on, it's Disney. Those guys have got to be like,
Come Peaceable Lake, or we're gonna.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure if Mike Pompeo doesn't get confirmed, isn't he getting confirmed? He could go work for Disney. I mean, it's like I imagine lots of guys in suits with like if you really act up in Disney.
Yeah.
I imagine it would look like the Secret Service and the president at some point. You'd be like, where'd all these guys in suits with things in their
training
ear?
ground.
They probably just walk you over to an area, push a button, you fall into a trap.
Right.
Well, 'cause
you're
they're
never
so-
heard from again.
I mean, to their credit, and lawyers too. I mean, you got all those kids, you got all that chaos going on, and like a big place like that, a lot of terrible things can happen, and you've got kids around. And if you take your kids to Disneyland, you want them safe, right?
Right.
You want those people around. You don't want,
Well, plus you got to have the public image so people
Yeah.
go, I want to go there. Rather,
So-
are you kidding me?
I mean, the last time I was there with the kid years ago, I was just amazed. Like, and it was summertime, so it was
Well-oiled machine.
crowded and everything, and you're like,
Well,
you know,
yeah, but you know how like years ago they used to have the overhead tram that went through the Matterhorn,
oh, I know it well.
and it's not there anymore.
I went on there.
That's because people fell off of it and died, so they
Yep.
took it out.
Yeah, my grandma was scared
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
out of her wits on that thing, and I was just like, "Come on, grandma!"
Let's go
you're
again.
making it
I
rock
know.
back and forth, freaking her out.
yeah. I was that kid.
But I can't get away from like the security people, like black suits and ties with the earpieces and the mouse.
You know, they would never allow.
Bob, we got a runner.
I know, right? It would be fantastic.
Disney
but
cops.
It's like Running Man in
Right.
in the park.
oh man,
Right.
like through the Matterhorn,
Yeah.
Space Mountain. There he is. Here, quick, look, we could pitch this movie to Disney.
We could.
Disney could make this movie.
Yeah.
It could be.
funny.
We could play two bumblehead security guards
Right.
who get a job at security,
Abbott
and we're like,
Costello, we could do this.
yeah, and then what we're doing is then we're
Bill
like,
and Ted.
here's a bad guy chasing around, and so we have to like jump in the Matterhorn car. There he is! Get in, Jason! Wah! You
Right.
know the whole like.
Doc, come in, Doc. I think I pinned him down
Yeah.
at the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Get over it.
They're hiding behind Johnny Depp.
Hiding behind you. He's behind
Exactly.
Depp.
This would be a great meta. Honest to God, that would be a great meta movie for Disney. You know what?
Yeah.
Bob, call me. I'll pitch you some ideas. We could
roll-
get some money.
Roll
That's right.
call in the Disney PD.
No,
Roy, Billy.
Right. Oh, put your hands up.
all you need to do. All you need to do
Right.
is write the script. It
I
writes
know,
itself.
it
It's a
does.
chase through Disneyland or Disney World, starring Dwayne Johnson
Yeah.
as Disney security.
And Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's got to be like family fare, you
Maybe
know.
some
Something.
Kevin Hart to throw in, a little comedic.
I think we'll put a little Eddie Murphy in there. We haven't seen Eddie in something in a while.
Eddie's like the captain. He's like the guy sitting in his, he's calling people.
Oh,
out.
he could totally do that.
I remember back, he plays the same guys he did in like Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
But now he's aged and he's like the grizzled veteran.
Yeah, get in here!
Oh, okay, I'm on my way, sir.
Get in here, Sergeant!
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone stole Goofy's shoes.
Oh,
You gotta find them.
I was sitting there, using the facilities, and next thing I know,
my
my
God.
shoes are gone. We gotta catch him. I got a sketch artist here.
I'm telling you, this would be a great movie. I'd watch it. It'd be fun. Dwayne Johnson would have to start because he's like the
And William
action.
Wait, the Shad. Can you imagine the Shad?
Oh, that'd be great.
Who is he? He's like the publicity guy, right? We got to keep everything on down low because his family's here. Want
Look
to have a
at you
good
guys.
time.
Suddenly became Imagineers over here.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Families gotta have a good time. Get out there.
I'll
Be
have
safe,
you know,
everybody.
we are Imagineers.
We are.
Yes.
We are.
Next time we do, actually, our next thing is to put some animatronics in here.
Ooh.
There you go.
Yeah,
Man.
that would be a good. I would watch that movie.
I would too. Barney Miller meets Disneyland meets
Oh, it would
Hill
be
Street Blues meets
fantastic.
Cops meets
I'm telling you. I just want to see like Dwayne Johnson and a couple bumbleheads like, jump in the
You know,
Matterhorn.
You
There it is right there.
probably just described the new Bill and Ted movie.
Right.
Oh, is it? Oh
We're
God.
gonna get sued now. We're gonna get sued for
Yeah, apparently
copyright.
there's going to be a third one, and
Oh,
they're
wow.
both signed to do it.
All right. That's gonna be that. Will definitely be the curmudgeon Bill and Ted's curmudgeonly adventure.
Because they're both now middle-aged dudes.
Oh, dude,
Exactly,
they're like in the walker. It's like, dude,
Well, I noticed that.
San Demas,
I noticed,
elderly care.
I noticed that Keanu Reeves looks a lot like Dave Grohl now.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
He's got the hair and the beard and the whole thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, that's a good look. I mean, if any of us could look like Dave Grohl right now, we would. Trust me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. San Dimas Senior Center rules.
Yeah.
That would be good. I think we could do that.
Is Golden Girls on yet? Who'd play Rufus though?
Oh, Carlin's gone.
Oh, of course.
So we need
Need a new Rufus, and so is
John Goodman.
yeah. There you go.
I think Goodman can pull
Yeah,
off
there
Carlin.
you go. And so is Clarence Clemens too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
he's
gets me
gone
down.
too. Fee Waybill, he's still around, right?
You able the tubes.
And
You got it.
Tina, or what's her name from the Go-Go's.
Yeah.
I know from memory who is in the temple.
Belinda Carlisle and then
No, it's not Belinda
but
Carlisle.
the
It was
guitarist.
the guitarist. Yeah,
she was the
she was the
Joan of Arc.
yes, and yeah, and Fee Waybill and Clarence Clemens.
Yep.
And the soundtrack is going to be done by the Brinksmen. We got this going on.
Yeah.
We're there. It's a hit.
Stallions.
What?
See, we could
Be
just
excellent.
see, we could just stop the show and just like reminisce
off on
about
them.
Yes.
Bill and Ted.
Right, and you guys thought we were just going to ask you a bunch of band questions, right? You're
Oh,
like,
this is way
you're
better.
like, what,
This is much better.
the hell what the hell did we get ourselves into?
No.
They start
What we
talking.
talk
Yeah, there's
about.
nothing worse than musicians who just talk about what they do.
This is like a Brinksmen rehearsal between songs.
Ooh,
There you go.
I like it. I
Now,
like
are you guys efficient, or do you just
We
screw
are
around
efficient.
a lot?
No, we are very efficient.
Yeah.
Oh, listen to this.
Well, no, we are
According to the drummer,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
efficient. And that's a
Well,
whole
no,
different kind of
I mean,
efficiency.
yeah, no, I'm serial. We
Yeah,
it's
we get together and we work. I mean,
Yeah.
we also, we have a good time, and we take breaks and hang out and talk, and
Yep.
but when
Yeah.
it comes to playing, it's like, bang, 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 get through the set.
Yeah, so we can drink beer and go home.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my
In
gosh!
fact, we're rehearsing. We're heading straight to rehearsals after the show. So,
There you go.
Yeah.
See, we should have just said we could have just done a remote
Oh,
live from the.
we need to do that sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you've done one of those? Have you?
What, remotes?
Yeah, like from a practice or something. We did one for House of Sound a few years back with the headliners.
We did that.
Heather
Yeah,
and I did one where we were
right.
in their basement.
Right.
their rehearsal.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And they told us a great story. It was really fun. Well, maybe it's not up on House of Sound anymore. Thanks, whoever deleted my account.
Oh, it wasn't me.
I know. Somebody did,
I don't know.
and the videos kind of went away.
Well, see, the thing is,
Oh, you're
is that
right.
It all points to Jason now. He's
No.
the
I know.
No, I didn't touch the deleted sign. That's before mine.
I know.
Yeah, but
It just
you're the man
magically one
now.
day it was gone, and it was like, oh crap.
It bums,
I think it's because something. I
I don't know, but it
doesn't
bums
matter. It just means that actually one of these days, maybe this week, Doc maybe needs to re-upload some old
Yeah.
House of Sound live band videos that aren't there anymore.
Right.
And he should have been put it on his own channel, but he made a channel for House of Sound that got deleted
Right.
because he was trying to make it. Anyway. But anyway, what I learned from the
There's
headliners.
no bitterness there
No,
whatsoever.
not a bit. Look,
All I
dude,
can say is it wasn't me, man.
dude, all I know is if it ever comes down to something gets screwed up and more work for me, that's no bitter.
Right.
Like, do it once, done.
I'm getting, dude. I tell you, I'm getting the same way.
I know.
I go down there, I go down to the studio because somebody has pushed a button and moved something, and I listen and scrap. So I got to go all the way down there and like literally
yeah.
turn up one button, and then the next night it's the same thing. Like, come on, guys,
I love it. Welcome to NuzBox, where we complain about.
other stations.
it's Curmudgeons, right?
Yeah. And
Anyway,
women just want to talk about leaving the seat down, right?
oh, jeez.
Yeah, they do that down there too. And no, and it gets me up, drives me up the wall now. Anyway,
Okay.
but
One pro tip. I just want to say this
Pro
from
tip.
this.
He's pro
We
tip.
did this. We did this remote practice with this band, The Headliners. Anyway, and because they had done a concert, we did a House of Sound show at the Fez several years back.
Right.
It was a good one. There is some video of that because that's on my channel.
Gotcha.
One thing I learned from their interview, and this is a pro tip for you guys: album covers. Because you guys make album covers,
Yeah.
right? All
Yeah,
right.
we have a guy that does all of our logos and posters and
Okay. Just here's a pro tip for you band members.
yes.
This is a little tip I got from The Headliners.
Okay.
Don't ever make an album cover with the heart of a cow and a pig and a sheep and that blood.
Yeah.
I will keep that in mind.
You may get a staph infection.
But
Wow.
Apparently, they had done this album cover where they had used the. This is terrible for me to tell this story, right?
yeah.
It's a vegetarian here, but they actually had, these body parts of these animals. But apparently, you can get, because if you have anything, you can get staph infections with blood.
Right.
And their guitar player or somebody got deathly ill.
Oh,
I mean, a staph infection is not
Yeah, it's not the sneeze.
something to.
Who was
fool
it?
around with.
Who was it back in the day in their album cover? Was it Canned Heat? Had an album cover of a naked woman sitting in a bathtub full of pork and beans. Would the same thing go into effect there?
Oh,
Let's see here. Now, were these bushes baked beans?
No.
Fanny Camp?
They look, yeah, I don't know.
We're going to get letters from the bushes people now.
No. Well, that's cooked though. That's cooked. I mean, we're talking like literally. This is raw.
Oh, yes.
It's raw pork.
entrails.
Well, it's raw blood, and then I got to thinking. Yeah, remember all the the bands that used like the chicken blood and all that? It's like didn't I don't know. Didn't Ozzy get sick once or something?
Yeah, you
I
had
mean,
to go
it's
through
like the rabies. He
rabies
got
shots and stuff,
rabies.
yeah.
That's right.
They don't honestly know that he contracted it, but it was.
But they were like, it would be a bad idea if you got rabies.
So here, you get the treatment. Yeah.
My theory is he's got rabies and he's had them ever since. Ron,
Right?
Sharon,
Yes.
I had rabies.
Right.
I mean, how could you tell with Ozzy?
Yes.
Rabies, not rabies. Sharon.
Right?
That's going to be like Keith Richards, too. You can't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it was in. Oh, okay, he's got.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, I don't know. their science should be studying. I mean, they should be drawing blood from Keith Richards and putting it in centrifuges and looking at all the antibodies and anticoagulants.
All the healing properties.
Yeah.
He is the anti-venom.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy in the Mago Man where it's like, if you get his blood and vaccinate everyone, no one will die of the zombie apocalypse.
Right. You don't even have to buy drugs anymore. You could just smoke a little bit of Keith Richards. He'll get you.
Yes.
We shouldn't talk like this. No. No, you know how like back a year, when like and. Actually, several people have died recently. Again, that just has some rockers and stuff that I don't remember. But you know how you kind of like get in that phase, and you start talking about someone, and then it's all of a sudden like, oh, boom! Guess what? I just checked Google News, and
and he's still alive.
I mean, there was that period where like Bowie, Prince, all these tons. I mean, those are just a couple on the top.
2016 through 2017.
Yeah, and everyone was like, "Shut up! Don't say anyone's name or anything." Like it was cursed.
It's always the wrong ones. I mean, David Bowie and Prince and all these guys, go down, and we can't. I mean, Bieber's still alive. Damn it!
Bieber, come on.
I just say,
you guys are mean.
I just say, if death claims Willie, we're all going to hell. It's over.
See, it's that kind of talk that really bothers me, especially with someone who's older, like with Keith Richards, where it's like, no, dude, I really don't. I don't wish. I don't. There are other people in this world who are famous that I wouldn't mind if they.
Kardashian.
They're not musicians.
Yeah.
Okay? They're not artists. They're not people who bring joy into other people's world.
Are they lawyers?
And the room goes silent.
There was a frosty.
And what other professions do lawyers often get into when they run for election? Politicians. There are people who create joy and bring joy into your life. I mean, when you guys go and play up there at the Clark County Fair, you're on a stage. There's people happy. They're drinking beer. They're whatever, drinking soda pop, whatever, drinking the Kool-Aid. Hopefully not
drinking the Kool-Aid.
But and you're bringing joy into their lives.
Yeah,
and that's all people want.
Right.
But
and that's what we want.
Yeah. You're not dropping bombs on some weird country somewhere.
We have no aspirations to run for office.
Want for office.
There's not a lot of. Well, Sonny Bono.
Sonny Bono.
Yeah.
Like he's the one that comes to mind. Like what music person ever ran for office?
Plenty of actors.
Yeah, actors, wrestlers, professional
comedians. Al Franken.
Yeah, Al Franken, but not
Jesse the Body.
Not a lot of musicians though.
Right.
Bono. Sonny Bono.
Sonny
the love child of Cher and The Edge. Oh, you like that one?
Great.
See, I wish that back in the day, when Jesse the Body Ventura, was in office and Arnold was in office, Carl Weathers should have been in office, like in Mississippi or somewhere.
Yes.
To have the trifecta.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, come on.
The Predator trifecta.
A little Sly Stallone, maybe. Well, Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I would vote
There you
for
go.
Apollo Creed easily. Carl Weathers, not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a weird one though when Schwarzenegger won it in California. That was just like, okay, wow, that's interesting.
It was like Reagan times 10. It's like, how did Reagan win?
Yeah, it was. No, you were absolutely right. It was like Reagan times 10. It was like, Reagan. He was an actor. He kind of did his thing. He acted in the military and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of a B-list. He Reagan was. I mean, Bedtime for Bonzo.
Yeah.
That was like his what?
Right.
That
was his big
Played
hit.
those 40-year-old college kids.
Yeah.
Football players.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, the Gipper.
Yeah.
The
Gipper, yeah.
But I mean, as compared to Schwarzenegger,
Mega hit.
mega sensation. I mean, this guy,
Cop,
everything.
Jingle All the Way.
I mean, name top 5, 10 Schwarzenegger films. You can do it, right? And then he wins, and he would have run for president if he wasn't a naturally born Austrian citizen.
It blew
You
my,
know,
yeah, blew
he
my mind.
would have run. He
Oh, I
would
think
have
so.
run for president if
Yeah.
he could have.
Yeah, my brother. I remember when governor. When he
I'll
first
be
got
your
elected,
president.
I'll be back. My brother went down to California, SoCal, and this was just literally days after Schwarzenegger won his election. And he came back up, and I was like, wow, the land of, Schwarzenegger now. He goes, dude, you have no idea. They love him down there.
Yeah.
In fact, they don't call him Arnold. They call him Arnie.
Yeah,
Arnie's
yeah,
our
yeah.
man. He's our
Yeah.
dude.
Wow.
He's gonna, and I was like, wow. They love their Schwarzenegger,
Yeah,
It's
it's
like Germany and Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is California, the land of Hollywood. I mean,
Yeah.
if you think.
Wait, speaking of the Hoff, have you guys seen that show, Hoff the Record?
No.
Oh, my God.
Jeez.
It,
Yeah.
No.
he's in it.
Yeah.
And he's spoofing himself. And it's hilarious.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Check it out. It's funny.
We will. Off the record. Give me
Yeah.
a break. Oh, my gosh.
Quick trivia: what was the name of his first album?
Oh, jeez.
I have no idea.
Are you ready?
know this?
Oh, this is great. So I'm a young kid. I'm maybe 14 or 15, and I'm walking through the old Oak Grove Fred Meyer's, and the Oak Grove Fred Meyer's had their record department. So
Back when there were records.
I was with Buddha. I was Richard Buddha, and we're walking through there, and I see this guy. He's all in leather. Holy crap! He's standing on top of Kit, and he's got a guitar in his hand, and it's like that's Hasselhoff, David Hasselhoff,
Yeah.
Night Rocker.
Night rocker.
That's what I said.
Did you buy
Night
it?
rocker.
I ran as far away from that album cover as I could. Didn't even look back. But I still remember it to this day.
Night Rocker.
Google it. Yeah, David Hasselhoff's first album, Night Rocker. He's on top of Kit with a guitar, and I was like, I'm just gonna go home and listen to David Lee Roth.
Oh, man. or watch Hoff the Record is a British television
Yes.
comedy show starring David Hasselhoff, which was screened in Dave. It follows a mockumentary fly-in-the-wall format with David Hasselhoff playing a fictionalized version of himself. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Is like Johnny Depp when he does the Warwick Davis and the what's his name, the comedian. There's like some British show, and Depp often shows up as himself,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and like there's one where they're just doing all these terrible things to Warwick Davis, the guy, you guys know the guy
Willow.
from
Yeah.
Willow, Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Harry Potter.
One of the Ewoks.
Yeah, one of the Ewoks.
Yeah.
They're like locking him up and doing all these crazy things because they're rehearsing a script, and Depp is just like a sadistic,
That's funny. Well,
Yeah.
the Hasselhoff thing is funny because the premise basically of it is, his career's not doing well, so he decides to. He hears about. He goes to England because they're doing a biopic of his life, their movie, and he's like, okay, I'm in. Let's do this. And he gets there, and they make him audition, and he doesn't get the part.
That's great.
Yes.
Well, it reminds me a lot of Bruce Campbell stuff because he'll kind of play himself.
Yeah.
And kind of
See, you got to get
fictionalized-
him on the show. He lives clear,
Oh, yeah.
nearby.
Oh, Bruce?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Here's the show. Actually, it's called
Yeah,
Life.
he lives in like Central Oregon.
Yeah. He lives out here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
The show I was thinking of it is Warwick Davis's comedy show. It's called Life's Too Short. I can't remember what year it is. It's directed by, and he's in it, Ricky Gervais
He's
and
funny.
Warwick Davis, and then Johnny Depp comes, and they put him in a toilet or something. I mean, it's like Warwick Davis plays himself, and Johnny Depp plays himself, and Ricky Gervais kind of
Like
plays
give him-
himself, and
give him
all
a
these.
swirly.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's terrible, but it's funny. It's really funny. Depp is really funny in it too. I mean, he just I don't know.
Yeah.
He's kind of a
So
sadist.
okay, so let
But
me
according
ask,
to his ex-wife,
let me ask
maybe
you
it's-
this: how do you feel about Johnny Depp being Alice Cooper's new guitar player?
That's interesting.
I never heard that.
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
I know he had a band.
Yeah.
Depp had the band going.
Yeah, the
What was the name of that band?
Hollywood Vampires or
Yes.
something
Yeah.
or other.
And who was in that band? There was a bunch of.
Alice was the singer.
Oh, okay. But there wasn't.
I mean, yeah, it was like a super group with all the
Yeah.
Actors and
rock stars and yeah.
Slack? No. flashing.
It was a revolving door as far as I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he's apparently one of the guitar players for Cooper now.
He's
Hey.
needs a gig. He's got
Right.
divorces to. What? Look, as a dude, what better way to blow off some steam when you're doing? I mean, hell, Brad Pitt should probably. Maybe Brad Pitt is in that band.
Right.
Maybe.
But it's like just like I'm going on tour, play some guitar and
That's right.
deal with it.
So let's talk about all the places where people can hook up and look at everything that's Brinksmen.
Okay.
I thought we just actually before you do that, let's just talk about all the places people can hook up.
In the bottom.
Risley Park is located at.
Here at NuzBox. Yeah.
Oh man,
I'll see you guys all later down in the parking lot in the back of the 7-Eleven.
Jason has a way with phraseology here.
Well, I wouldn't call it a way. Most of just talking that out of my butt. Yeah.
Okay.
Again-
So where can we find you?
Well, let's see.
We had you here. You got on Facebook.
Yeah. We're on Facebook. Reverb Nation, SoundCloud, Bandcamp,
Your
YouTube.
If you search YouTube, your videos come up right there. The Brinksmen.
Yeah.
So easy to find.
Easy to find.
That's good.
Let's see. We are.
Is there a
we're
webpage?
on, no, we don't have a web page at this point.
Okay.
We're too poor.
Who needs a stinking web page?
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
Web page. Here's your web page. I got your web page right here.
Reverb.
And Twitter,
Bandcamp.
along with your Twitter too.
Yeah.
But you guys have a
SoundCloud.
Facebook though.
What's that? Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you got a Facebook. You got a SoundCloud.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
That's good.
We're on iTunes, Spotify, MediaNet, Amazon, Google Play, Pandora.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we just got picked up on Deezer and Tidal.
Nice. That's
Which
good
I'm
stuff.
not really familiar with,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming it's some
But you can
sort-
do
like Spotify type of
Spotify
thing.
and Pandora and just
Yeah.
get your Brinksmen channel. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Congrats. That's great.
Yeah.
I like that. Not that anybody makes any money on that, but it means people can hear your music,
Right.
you know?
And they can get it somewhere. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can move to Canberra, Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And live like kings.
Live like kings and listen to Brinksmen on the radio.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
gonna check with my contacts down there. And
Nice.
See if you're, because I mean these people know the music down there, so, and they know like the rock, and so maybe you could get on one of them cruises, those rock and roll cruises.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah?
Let us know when you guys get on the cruise. That way we could do like entertainment too there.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think? Would be
Maybe we can just do one for up to Alaska and back here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just take a cruise.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I see. I don't know.
We'll just stow away with gear and say, where's them?
Right?
Yeah.
Like I've said before on this show, the idea of a cruise just skews me. I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, they're
Well, you automatically think of like those Carnival cruise things where it turns
Oh,
into like,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, there was the cruise with the Australians and the New Zealanders, and this whole family started beating up everyone on the
Oh, my
cruise
God.
line.
oh,
It was just like they finally had to contain this family and arrest them and take them off the ship. And I'm just like going, oh man.
Okay,
I don't know.
I'm gonna book us then. Where it's gonna be cruise with curmudgeons.
I don't
Cruise
know,
with curmudgeons.
man.
Cruise with curmudgeons. We'll sit around with our little Captain Tennille hat on. You know,
I'll take a plane to it. I'll just take a plane.
coming to you
I
live
don't
from
even
the
care
Lido
if the
deck.
engine falls off. I'll just be like, no, I'm taking the plane. You know, I don't want to be cooped up on this stupid ship with a bunch of people. I don't know.
Yeah.
curmudgeons.
Yeah.
With Jason.
Yeah.
Hi.
No, the Australia thing, I have a funny story of another band that we did some shows with, and they were getting ready to do a Australian tour.
Uh-huh.
And they were opening up some shows for a fairly famous Australian band called, what is it, Rose Tattoo or something like that?
Rose tattoo.
Yeah, something like that. You know, pretty famous in Australia. And so we're standing there talking. We had just finished our show, and we're talking with these guys and everything. And one of the guys goes, yeah, they're like the AC/DC of Australia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And my drummer at the time goes, isn't AC/DC the AC/DC of Australia?
Yeah, they're like the men at work of Australia.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
They're the Mad Max of Australia.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
They're the Olivia Newton-John.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's like that's great. That's like the Van Halen of Pasadena.
Right.
The Paul Hogan.
Oh man. Well, we do have to wrap it up. We could play one of these out.
Let's play something.
I could do a little experiment here and see if I can play out their music with. Maybe that won't work, but what the hell?
What the hell?
I could try it. I don't know.
All right.
What should we play out here? Yeah, Just Agree, The Run, Same Train.
Let's do Same Train.
Yeah.
Nice mellow ending.
Same Train. That's what we like. That's what the play out is like.
Way to calm things down.
I don't know if this is gonna work though, guys. All right. Well, if maybe it'll work.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm like sitting here going, I've never tried this before.
If it doesn't work, you can just raise our mic levels and we'll hum it.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll try it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Okay.
let me. Any final thoughts, guys?
Yes. Final thoughts from the Brinksmen?
Final thoughts. Yeah. Support local music. Come out to the shows.
That's
Absolutely.
There you go.
And that next show is
May 18th.
May 18th. Yeah.
May 18th.
The Rumpus Room.
The Rumpus Room. And I think, by the way, isn't I think I got some notification about the Undertow. Isn't that this weekend? I think
It's coming up, yeah.
I think it's this weekend.
Yeah, Undertow Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
Oh,
Check
yeah?
that out.
We'll,
yeah.
We'll talk about it on Friday.
On Friday, yeah, we got Friday to do that. All right. Cool. Well, take care, guys, and I am going to.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been great, and I'm going to see what happens here. Give me a second here. I bet you it's not going to work. Ooh. Look at that.
It is. Look at that.
Yeah.
Bye.
These are just experiments inside your head, inside my fence. Why won't lay down for no one, but I can't do this on my own. On the same train but working on at different stops along the way. I can't see if you're really here. Clouds part and it's all so clear, but I can't find a way. Words just seem to get in the way. May look and wear the latest, but we all know the greatest. I thought I'd like to take you down, but then I stepped on sacred ground. On the same train, but working on why different stops along the way. I can't see if you're really here. Clouds part and it's all so clear, but I can't find a way. Words just seem to get in the way. Go outside and feel the weather. Seems like it could be and say it is wrong to explain to your son what you desire and what he can have, but he surely does say. On the same train, but working on what different stops along the way. I can't see if you're really here. Clouds part and it's all so clear, but I can't find a way. Words just seem to get in the way. Why